Good timing, just taking a building break. Pa. Well, I went back on my save.
Hey, good timing, just taking a build break.
Yeah, I gotta turn that off. I had the comments to speech when I was doing the VR game because I knew I wouldn't be able to see the texts. The comments. Oh yeah, not doing that VR thing again. So we switched back to the other mod. The one that lets you, what do you call it? Build on top of the roads. If there's a roof section that's in the game that I can put back on this house, I think I'll do that. Because I can't get rid of you. I have to rebuild this today. I rebuilt this morning. It used to be one plank here with two half circles on either side of the top one, with one plank below with two half circles on either side, two quarter circles on either side of the bottom. I swapped it out to be smaller because Mama Murphy kept getting stuck on top of it. So that might fix it. I might just move this down. That might actually make more sense. And then I know she won't get stuck on top of it because it's just a single layer, but I do like the multi-layer thing. The multi-step. Multi-pass. Lilu. Multi-pass. That's a good movie, I don't care. My 3D vid today. You mean the VR? It was like, what, 20 minutes? I was getting sick, nauseous. 20, 30 minutes into the game and I was already getting nauseous. I'll be able to play it like at small chunks. Either that or I need to find out why I am not. Maybe I don't have the settings right on the goddamn game. You know? Maybe I don't have the VR constraint. Oh yeah, I deleted it. One of the few things I've ever deleted off my YouTube page. Two things. A, there's a brief glimpse into my house. And two, it's just so. I don't know. Yeah, and I'll say this: it was great for what it was. You know, it's a good game. Very cool being able to look around, but I don't think I have the. I was wearing my contacts at the time, and I don't think it was. I don't think I have the VR headset because there's some minor adjustments to make to it. I don't think I have it set right, and I got to figure that out. And I tried standing and do while I was doing it. I tried sitting, and then I got up to stand, and yeah, that was worse. So I think I'm gonna rebuild the residence home from scratch. It's Memorial Day weekend here in America. Which is officially our start to, we think it's summer. You think it's winter. Crazy people in Australia. Just because your seasons are backwards. I saw a brief little bit of someone else's live stream where they had a camera. And it just reminds me why I don't want a camera on mine. The other reason. People started asking him to do lewd things. Not necessarily lewd things, but things that had nothing to do with the game. He was supposed to perform because he had a camera. I hear you, Z. It's the price us beautiful people pay. People always just want us for our intellect. Exactly. Although it can be about how funny the gamer is. Waka waka. I was watching a bit of the news this morning and found out how Trump is disappointing us again. It'd be a good joke if it wasn't just true. Disappointing and embarrassing us again. I guess it's the real thing to say. He shoves somebody out of the way at NATO to get to a picture. Like he's shoving people out of the way to get to his 10-piece at a KFC. It's my chicken. That, and he did, what else did he do? He decided to bash NATO in front of them. Caticle, the cheese of power. The fuck are you doing here? You owe me. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Are you gonna kill me or what? I don't know what you mean. Caticidal? What the fuck are you talking about? Jesus. Z, do you remember AOL and chat rooms? I'm just saying, having been through that experience, chat rooms like that, there's a lot of more mature people who don't go onto someone's YouTube channel acting like it was a chat room. Yeah. In the category of things I don't believe, ranking 1, the cheese of power. Momentary pause. Users put into timeout. Maybe you can figure out to talk about things that are happening in the channel next time, or continue your shenanigans somewhere else. And if any of that was real, disturbing, and you need to find help somewhere else, I am not that guy. I would be that guy to help if I knew you, or even the least bit of you. But you come into my channel and haven't said a goddamn word, and then start talking about, oh, he paid me to kill me. I'm not gonna do it though. Bother someone else, please. Yeah, well. Sure you don't want to be a moderator, Z? On the occasions that I'm just not paying attention. Or it's the same user with multiple accounts, and he's talking to himself. is your OC? What's an OC? Damn it! I just scrapped something I didn't want to, but it's not that big of a deal. It's channel I'm working on, OC. Were you trying to be funny earlier, or what? Because it wasn't working. There's a full moon everywhere at a nudist camp. That's a good joke. Or naturist, your choice. I've seen a bad moon rising.
Yeah, yeah.
Little Rel.
Little Rel was funny.
Little Rel was fucking great.
I didn't believe I wasn't a big fan of the premise because.
We mean you weren't big fan of the premise.
Yeah, I just think.
So you didn't like the movie?
I don't think rich white people would make themselves black. just
for kicks. Kicks, you know what I mean?
So when they're driving away from that town and they get pulled over, I mean,
they don't leave.
They're gonna be like, "Oh, we made a huge mistake."
Don't they get to go back? Can they not go back?
No, they can't go back. They fucking,
You
cut
stay
their
in the
heads
sunken
off
place.
and shit.
Yeah, I don't know if we're talking about the same movie. Do you guys know what the last movies last motion picture experience you had was?
I went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy 2 with my family.
And the kids and everything?
Yep.
Everybody like it?
Everybody liked it. Didn't think it was as good as the first one.
Yeah, it
Thought the
wasn't.
little jokes were corny. The "it's not ripe yet" bit was way too long.
You
but
didn't
we
think it
still
was
loved
ripe?
It's not ripe.
Okay.
But we liked it.
Last movie I saw was Aliens, the new Aliens.
Alien Covenant?
Alien Covenant.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
Was that good?
How'd that
It was
work
good.
out for
I
you?
enjoyed it, you know.
Oh, you want a little fun fact? Is with that Aliens Covenant is that Catherine Watterson is also in Fantastic Beasts. We did a pilot together in 2004 where she was my love interest.
But I can't talk about my first girl I loved. This pilot
Yeah,
didn't
at
get
least
picked
this
up.
is some shit we could actually see.
Pilot's
Al.
not even on the air.
It's called Americana. You can find it on YouTube. With all
Is
my
that a
other
fun
work.
fact or a name drop? What was that?
It's just interesting, I think. Yeah, a little side note that people may
But
want
that's
to
like
enjoy.
going.
If you're a movie
I was
buff.
fired from a Starbucks in 2000. I went to one day of work.
But people didn't like the Aliens because it had too much story, right? Is that
No, I thought it was okay. You just have to remember back to like that. This is a prequel to the original. You know.
I accidentally scrapped an invisible sheet on a crow. Now I can scrap any crow. Really? Oh, where did you find that? That's something I want to do. Okay, what's CVA again? You kids and your initials. Don't come around tonight. Oh yeah, okay. I think it's funny that sometimes you have to scrap something else before you can scrap something else. Like I tried to scrap these branches before, but because something else was whatever. Now it's a river again. What up? There's your opinion of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I liked it. I thought it was fun. I think, and in my opinion, this is why I kind of like that. I've always liked the song Mr. Blue Sky, but why I like it even more now is because of the opening credits of the movie. And Baby Groot, Mr. Blue Sky. Little Groot funking out to Mr. Blue Sky. Awesome. Come on. Come on. That's all I'm thinking about when if I play that song and I'm running through the Commonwealth. Come here, Luke. All right, don't come here. I'm okay with that. They did a Mr. Blue Sky thing in a Doctor Who episode, which was kind of funny, especially the way that it was done. It's just a sweet, happy song. It's full of bubbly confusions and cheers.
Sequel, prequel. It's a sequel, prequel, right? Is that how you say it?
A prequel.
Guess so.
Yeah.
Because it was a prequel.
Where does it fit?
the
So,
sequel.
but it's after Prometheus and before the first Alien.
Yes.
Okay.
But they left you there's a big, like, where
Don't worry
was this
about it.
guy in the other movie
Those are good
situation,
episodes.
though?
Danny McBride.
No. the robot. Oh, who saw it? Nobody saw it?
Yeah, don't give anything away.
Spoiler alert!
But it also doesn't sound like the room's tensing up, like they're worried about spoilers.
I know, bro, you ruined Alien for me, bro. It's not like
Yeah,
Sixth
we had to be
Sense.
really careful about Get Out for like weeks because people get mad
Yeah.
if you say too much about it.
Did you see Snatched?
Uh-uh.
Did anyone see Snatched?
Wow.
Wow.
You, I guess.
Hey, guys, guess who was in Snatched?
Is that a real game?
Yes.
Because I'm pretty sure I know.
Who?
He's trying to think of someone else in the
Holtz is
movie.
in it.
Yeah, he's in it.
Oh, okay, you're missing a big person, but go ahead. Who else?
Yeah, Amy Schumer.
Amy
No,
Schumer's
that's not
in
who
it.
you're missing. Keep going.
Goldie Hawn.
Wanda Sykes. Is in it.
Wanda Sykes. No, you're missing. Wow, and is somebody?
Oh shit! Is Eric Griffin in this movie?
No, Al Madrigal, motherfucker.
Oh,
Why do you think I brought it up?
I don't know why you brought it up.
They won.
If you know Al, he would never.
No, it's I still haven't seen it though. That's the thing.
You haven't seen it?
Oh, he left the premiere. He walked right out the back door.
No, I was away.
Oh, okay.
Missed it.
But yeah, I just haven't seen it yet. It's directed. The guy who directed it is very talented. I
He
like
directed
his
our
movie
pilot.
50,
That's
50.
what I was really getting
Did he?
at. Yeah, he directed the pilot that's on
I'm mad because I was supposed to
YouTube.
be. I didn't get a role. I was supposed to be like the person that they call. So mad about that.
I wasn't up for that. Didn't have anything.
Well, you're like a.
Although I tested to be Schumer's boyfriend in what's the first one? Trainwreck. And then they got this guy Bill Hader or something to fucking do it. I was like, I don't know, take a swing at him, I guess. New guy to the biz. I said, listen, Judd, you're really fucking throwing a long one here, but good luck. Let's see if he can catch it.
In the pilot for I'm Dying Up Here, you got some heavy acting going on there, Andrew Santino.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of have a pretty deep emotional arc. Eric gets that way, and Al gets probably the most.
Yeah, Al's full on.
He gets-
Niagara Falls.
Yeah,
He's
it gets
going
pretty
for it.
fucking sad. There's some real sad, beautiful moments, but I think the weird
I had
thing
to
is
live in North Hollywood.
they promoted it for a long time as a comedy. I think
After they watched it, they were like, "Oh,
well, that was the mistake. Is that Jim was always like, it's not a comedy, it's like a drama, but about the world of comedy. And then Showtime would still have a few people that would come around that were like, but it's like a comedy, right?
But
the head guy."
so many good characters though, played by mostly funny people. And then we should mention Melissa Leo.
Melissa Leo, yeah, she's the head honcho.
Main character on the show is the lady that runs the comedy club, and as she said at South by, like she didn't even base it on Mitzi Shore because she didn't know who Mitzi Shore was until after they cast her in the role.
Yeah, she wants to stay away from that world. She wanted to create her own character.
She sure did. She did it.
Yeah, she did.
She's a fucking intimidating lady.
Let me tell you how fucking one day
you have no idea."
The best part was us getting more and more, like, first, like, Melissa Leo, she's an Oscar winner, and we're just fucking 88 comics.
Yep.
So we're in scenes with her almost right out of the gate, and it's super intimidating. But then over the course of 10 episodes, we got more and more comfortable with her until Eric. What did you say about her at that fucking party? Right to her face. It was hilarious.
Well, it's just that if the script says her name's Goldie in the show, right? So let's say in the script it says Goldie is on coke and agitated.
Better watch the
Then
fuck
guess who's going to be agitated on set? And it's like, well, it's Leo. But man, I don't care how upset she might have gotten when it's time for her to perform. Even just sitting across from her, standing across from her, when she was done, you want to go, God damn.
Yeah, her process was.
God.
She was so.
It was crazy.
She was so adamant about controlling the set that one day we were on.
It's the first day. This is
our set, our stage that was just like our comedy club was probably 2 or 3 times the size of this room, and she
4
was
times the size.
She was on the opposite side, and we 3 idiots are on the opposite side. And we're in between takes. There's not even rehearsal or anything, and we're just chatting, having a good time,
trying to figure out what we're gonna get.
Yeah, what we're gonna say because we have like a little improv bit, like a fucking apparition. She just like appeared, and she was like, "You don't talk. You don't talk." And all of us were like, "Oh fuck! All right, well."
We had that look at each other like, she just yelled at 3 grown ass men.
We're grown-ups. Not in that moment. You're like, I'm a child. I'm still a child, and I got slapped. She was intense, but it was worth it.
Again, gradually over the course of the season, she became part of this group because there's 9 people. Clark Duke from your buddy Clark from Hot Tub Time Machine,
Michael Angarano,
and Kick Ass, and
Ari Grainer, Jake Lacey.
Michael Angarano was in the last? Was it
Emperor? Forbidden Kingdom. Forbidden Kingdom and Sky High.
And he was in Sky High. It was a great movie. You guys remember Sky High? It was fantastic.
You know what he gets
Kurt
recognized
Russell?
for all the time? Dogtown and Z-Boys. Someone said that. Yeah, people love
He's
that.
been in a ton of
I heard a
things
girl.
since he was little.
It was a girl.
Stanford Prison Experiment.
Yeah.
He was in Will and Grace. He played Will's son.
Yeah,
right.
His kid.
Oh, I
yeah.
thought he was Jack's penis, but
Jack's son.
Jack's penis.
'Cause he's little.
He said this guy.
He's tiny.
He is a little tiny cute guy. We said one day he showed up. One day he showed up with a new rental car because Al got him like a hookup to get a nice big bless you, a big Cadillac. And he got a big Cadillac, and Michael's like a small guy. And the whole day we kept teasing that he came in like a child driving a truck, like his arms were. The wheel was so big, and the door, him stepping out of it, was like a fucking event to get out of the car.
Did we miss anybody? Jake Lacey. Who else? Oh, RJ.
RJ Seiler, the have you ever seen Me, Earl and the Dying Girl? Did anybody see that?
Me, Earl and the Dying
Nobody.
Girl.
Wow.
Oh yeah, he's great in that. And,
He's the Black Power Ranger.
He's the Black Power Ranger.
And John
What is
Daly's
ESO?
great on the show.
Oh yeah, John's fucking awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys did great in a round of name actors that you're on a show with.
Thank you.
Killed it.
Really killed it. I don't know who to call the winner necessarily, but you guys did
All
a great
eldest
job on
rolls
that.
online.
And so this is the part of the show where I say, "Let the games begin." People brought
I have
name
Elder
tags.
Scrolls, so
You guys just have to go grab one that you want to play for, whatever person's name tag inspires you the most,
Okay.
and just bring it back to your seat, and then we will commence with the game. I brought some buzzers. People love it when I bring the crazy buzzers. You can just feel the anticipation. Yeah, you like 12 Years a Dave, do you?
Get yourself a job working at midnight tonight, man. I can hear Hardwick's going to give you points. 12 Years a Dave and Kramer versus Kramer. That's fucking
There should
awesome.
be a black kid in this, though.
Doug is black.
No, but
I was running my own little affirmative action program, and I picked Chang Glorious Bastard.
All right.
There you go.
Glitter
Looks
happy.
good there in the,
and
Brad Pitt role. Yeah, good job, dude.
that's
I don't think I should be playing the part of 12 Years a Slave,
whatever.
though.
Yeah.
That's a little bit weird.
Like
You're
white-
great
it's-
on this
it's-
one.
Yeah, well, of course.
Is this whiteface? What would this be called, I guess, huh?
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
You went Doug.
Whatever it is, I don't like it.
You know, yeah.
We should probably
wanna
destroy
trade it?
that.
I think you did a great job.
But yeah, so you're playing for Dave, and we got Chang, and we got so there's a person whose name just happens to be Kramer. So you have your last name's Kramer, so you don't have
Nice.
to change
Oh, dope.
anything in the title. It's Kramer versus Kramer. Good job.
Is anybody here a graphic artist? You are? What did you bring?
He didn't bother.
You didn't bother to bring one, and that's what you do for a living?
He's like, that's what I do for a living. Why would I?
These peasants
Just like
don't
how you
deserve-
guys haven't brought any jokes tonight. Like everybody slacks
Ouch.
off when they can. I know. I didn't have to take all three of you on that one. I could have just gone after Andrew for
Thanks.
trying to give a guy a hard time for not making a sign.
No, he knows what he did. By the way, I didn't. His girlfriend or friend pointed him out, so it wasn't. He didn't say I. She was like him. It's him. So that's
Yeah,
your
well,
fight to
you
have.
know, it's important for us to have whistleblowers at this point, and I'm glad that she's.
Well,
Snitches
sources
get
say.
stitches.
Yeah.
Snitches get stitches.
Whoa! I
No,
don't
that's
know
what
if
happens.
that's-
In my house. That's what happens in my house, Doug.
Inside
Alright.
movie sources say.
Would each of you like a buzzer?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna need these.
Oh, we
Thank
are?
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you go ahead and practice if you want. Al, do you want to hit yours?
Okay.
I think we're good.
It's hard to stop, isn't it? But if you guys get, I got one too.
What's yours sound like?
Oh shit, somebody's here.
Like every time.
That was how we used to get the dog. The dog would hide under the bed, but if we rang the doorbell, the dog would get so excited somebody was there. Like no matter who it was, they'd get excited, come out from under the bed, and we'd stand around laughing because the dog fell for it every fucking time.
What an idiot dog. Poor dog. get down to the bottom of how you want to really bring this thing to a screeching halt and talk about how you abused your fucking dog.
Well, I saw the movie Dog's Purpose, so I felt a lot better knowing that when my dog died, that it went on to help somebody else. I don't know what its purpose was in my life, but
that doorbell trick that you pulled on it.
Yeah, it was good for some laughs. All right, so we're gonna play a game tonight called Alex's, Jason, and Deb's IMDb game, and it's based on the IMDb page of actors and actresses. You know how they'll list best known for, and they'll have like 4 of their projects, mostly movie, but occasional TV one will slip in there. And
TV One, the black station.
What? So
But they don't list those. Those just come up, right? Those or they take responsibility for that.
Well, there's an algorithm that decides it. Plus, also actors can go in and fix their own if they want to choose their own, which is kind of weird to say, decide what your best known is.
No, they can't. I've tried. It's impossible. They do it. You can ask, and they're like,
no, but they say it's a thing they're going to change. Like,
oh, they are?
Like, if you pay for the IMDb Pro, you could probably go in and change it.
Tried it.
You did it?
Yeah, I have IMDb Pro. I don't think you can change
I can't.
that.
You can't.
I've tried to put myself in The Godfather. It didn't work. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to be here all night, fellas.
All right, so one of you brought jokes. All right, one of you. So I'll start naming the top 4 from. It's based on box office awards, what they're known for, basically. But it's not accurate by any means. So I'll start naming their top 4. Buzz in when you want to guess who you think it is. But if you're wrong, it's -1 point. So you might not want to buzz in on the first title because, of course, most movies have many people in them.
Sure.
Meryl Streep. No, I'm kidding.
You know what? I don't mind a good pre-guess. I don't think you want to lose a point over it.
No.
All right, and you get bonus point for each additional one that you can name if you buzz in on before the 4th one.
I'm gonna be so bad at this. I'm sorry. 12 Years of Dave.
I think we're all sorry for 12 Years of Dave.
I mean, put some effort. You know what I mean? Come on.
I can't believe you picked that.
Hey, don't read what's on the back there, Andrew. That's a consolation prize if you lose tonight. I have to read that out loud.
Oh, yeah.
Was it good?
It's actually quite good.
Okay. See, this Chen Glorious Bastards is smart. He made it so that Al would have to go to a lot of effort to read. He taped it on the back there.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's a good way to keep you from doing it. How's yours there? You didn't have a pen? You had a big Kramer versus Kramer poster with my face on Justin what's-his-fuck, and you didn't have a pen? Justin Henry, Academy Award nominated for that film.
You know what, Doug? We're not all millionaires. We just can't have pens. I'm sorry, ma'am, that he did that to you.
I can afford pens because I stay in hotels.
But that's where you get your pens.
Yeah.
Is that the joke?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think that's what I was going for.
Jesus.
I wasn't. Sorry.
Marriott? Was that a Marriott?
Wait a second. You want to be in The Godfather? All right. So, let's try this. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're doing good on time.
God.
What actor or actress has their best known for start with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
Dolly Parton. It's not.
All right,
but
the
it's funnier
second
to say
title. The Truman Show. Andrew?
James Carrey.
Yes, that is correct.
Oh. I was going for Marlon Wayans.
I was going to say Kate Winslet, so thank God.
All right.
There's the dented beetle. Nobody? Nobody knows that movie well enough?
What?
Truman Show, man. Didn't you say the Truman Show?
He says there's that dented beetle?
There's the dented beetle when he's proving to her that the world is in rotation. He sits in his car, his rear view, and he says, girl with the bags, she spills, kid on a bike. There's the dented beetle.
That's such an obscure pull.
Somebody loves the Truman
For
Show.
that movie, I'd go with good night, good morning, good afternoon, and fuck off, or whatever he says.
Yeah, that's good. I just wanted to get specific, you know?
You get to guess 2 more Jim Carrey films that might be in his top 4 for extra points.
The Mask.
But if I get one wrong, I'm done. Is that it?
No, you get 2 guesses.
Oh, Dumb and Dumber.
Earth Girls are easy.
Wow. What would be in his fucking known for?
Just if you name like a movie that he's in. It might be the right answer.
The Amazing Burt Wonderstone.
Narrow it down to those. Okay.
You wanted just a fucking movie. He's in that movie.
I was saying, can we steal and
No,
steal a point?
no, that's not a part of the game.
Is Dumb and Dumber on there? Of the one of the 4 known?
It's in living color.
All right, settle down now.
Ace Ventura?
Coming in at number 3, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Liar, liar.
Yeah.
And then number
The
4 with
Cable Guy.
one bonus point for Andrew, Dumb and Dumber.
So is Dumb and Dumber, and then what was the other one again? Sorry.
You're too busy still yelling titles at me to listen to the answers.
You tell me to name
Ace
movies.
Ventura, Pet Dick.
Pet Dick.
So that means Andrew's out in the lead with 2 points, but we still have a few more rounds.
Cable Guy.
Tiebreaker.
That's so good.
Cable Guy?
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Such an underrated Jim Carrey movie.
How often was Jim like on the set of Medallion?
Every single day, every hour, didn't miss a step.
Wow. It seems like only one of you wanted to answer that.
Real canned answer coming at you.
Yeah, he was around.
He was around.
Okay.
He was never there. What are you guys talking about?
You're welcome. Such a
He came
setup.
like twice.
Yeah, he was around. He contributed more story than anything else.
yeah.
A lot of the story that you see is Jim's
He
life.
did all the pre-work.
Yeah. Well, it's.
Yeah, he had 30 years of it. And then he gave it to us. So it was very nice.
I was going to ask you guys before the game portion. I forgot to do it. Has there? I think the depiction of comics, not to blow smoke up all your skirts, but I've never seen it in a movie or TV show, so even though it takes place in the 70s, I still sort of know what that time was like. It's just very realistic. It's hard to get that. Whenever a character is a stand-up comedian in a movie or TV show, they kind of blow it. They don't really get the feel for it.
Yeah.
But this show, it's certainly the pilot that I saw, does a great job with that.
Well, thanks.
The things you guys say when you're doing stand-up are funny.
And then when we were making fun of each other too. When we talked about that. Like they let us do that with each other, so that there was the written lines, and then we got to fuck around with a little bit.
That was our favorite. Sitting in that booth and shitting on each other was my favorite thing in the world.
I think one of the things that was great too was we were able to go, like, hey, we wouldn't stand here. Like a lot of times they were trying to do the director would want to do a scene and there'd be somebody on stage and we would say comics wouldn't stand in a room and talk, so they would move the scene to like the bar or so that kind of stuff. We wanted to add as much authenticity to it as possible because we know there'd be comics watching going, they don't do that, they would never do that.
Well, they're going to do that anyway, but
I know, bastards.
Yeah, but I think they'll do it less than any other thing. Like, of course, we've all made fun of Punchline over the years and all the ridiculous things like everybody having a locker and one of the comics that's there every night is in a nun's costume. There is. That's true. They do have them.
You guys don't have lockers at the comedy store? I have a locker.
No.
It's got a secret locker room.
It's a secret locker room.
All right. So anyway, sorry. So I think I proved my point that you can't name any good stand-up comedy movies. Lenny with Dustin Hoffman, I guess, is a good one.
And I hate to make fun of the new one with De Niro, comedian.
That didn't work.
Didn't see it, no.
I didn't
Well,
see it.
CISO is putting out like a competitive show to ours that's in the 70s from the perspective of...
We'll just stop there.
Our show's on YouTube, okay? What is this fucking CISO?
Yeah. You have to pay for CISO.
Does anybody have CISO?
Hey, listen, don't take down one of our sponsors here.
Oh.
Yeah, CISO's great.
I didn't say anything bad about it. I was just talking about a show. But
let's talk some more about it.
Yeah.
What is it?
No, they're just trying to do a Johnny Carson thing. They're doing their angle.
But it's different, though.
Carson is very different.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
good. They didn't take like a chunk down or
It's
anything.
not as expensive as Doug's podcast, though, right? See so?
Are you SEESO.com/Doug for 10%. I don't know. Okay, here's the next round. Starting with what actor or actress is best known for?
You bitch.
There's no rules.
I forgot to mention that you can't knock other people's buzzers off the table. I don't know why I didn't bring up that rule. The first title is The Lion King.
Ooh.
Uh-oh. Al's reaching. What do you think he's doing?
Do it.
He's going. He's buzzing.
James Earl Jones.
No.
Damn.
Sorry, Al.
Now, do we keep going?
Yeah, we do.
Wow, that was my guess.
Well, maybe this second title will narrow it down. It should for many people in this room.
Mm-hmm.
Nash Bridges. TV program, Nash Bridges.
Cheech Marin.
Listen, Al, you're out for this round. You got
Mr.
-1
Waterfall.
point. Does anybody else have a guess?
No.
Keep going.
Just say what I just said, you fucking ass.
Do people know? Do you guys know? Who raise your hand if you know?
I don't
Yeah, we
care
now
about
we
how many
all know.
subscriptions I have.
Do you have a guess?
Not a
don't
big
know.
deal.
Eric?
Nash Bridges.
Subscribe if you want.
You know,
always
that was
look
pretty
at everyone
funny,
else's
but
channel.
-1 point.
Talk to me in the chat room.
I'm not guessing.
If you talk to me in the chat, I will look at your channel. But if you ask me to look at my channel, or tell other people to go look at my channel, that's advertising, and that's just not cool. Because I don't want advertising. I just want a laid-back experience.
Who doesn't have a guess?
I don't have a guess.
All right.
Well, I mean, they didn't either.
What?
They were wrong too, right?
No, Al guessed the second time.
But they were wrong.
No, you can't guess the second time.
Oh.
He was right, is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, but you want somebody to steal it?
Yeah.
Cheech.
Cheech Marin.
I said it. I already said Cheech.
You can't. You're out, Eric.
Cheech. Cheech, man.
Buzz your buzzer. Do it properly.
Cheech Marin.
That's so perfect.
Cheech Marin is correct.
Dude, you're winning, dog.
Another point for Andrew.
I would have got
And you can get 2 more bonus points if you can name 2 more Cheech Marin projects.
Up in
that
smoke.
are in the top 4. One more.
Not bad. That's funny. I said I was going to be bad, but I'm still winning.
Well,
Whoa.
you're definitely losing fucking this bonus part. Jesus Christ, guess something already. You're killing me.
Al's a cunt. Is Al's a cunt up there?
You know what? Cheech was so good in that.
There's no way Al's not an Al's a cunt.
It's actually a biographical.
I'm done. No, that's all I need. That's it.
That's all you have? That's your 2 guesses?
Al's a cunt and Up in Smoke.
Oh, right.
Born in East L.A.
Let Al do it. Do it.
They went with, do you know some?
Oh, there's plenty. I mean,
Yeah.
We'll do it. Oh, no, let him do it. Go ahead and do it.
What, you would run through every single...
Well, do the ones that you think are in the top, because you're fucking
still
shitting on me for not
smoking,
knowing.
I guess, or...
Still smoking?
Yeah.
No, they went with Cars.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's
And,
none of the real Mexican ones, right?
And, well, I don't know how Mexican this one is. Desperado?
Yeah, there wasn't.
Super
It's more New Mexican
Kinda
than
Mexican.
Mexican.
The most Mexican.
It's more Albuquercan.
It's more like
My
Austin,
favorite
Texas,
is
Mexican.
his pussy speech in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, yeah. We got big pussy, we got old pussy, we got hairy pussy. What kind of pussy you like? We got a fucking old stanky pussy. Every kind of pussy.
Do you know it? All right, you guys. Unless miracles happen, Andrew's going to run away with this thing.
Damn it. Okay, I got to come back.
It's time to come back. Buzz in on the first one if you can, because if you can get 4 points on this, then you'll catch
That's what I was
up.
trying to do.
Catch up to Andrew.
Buzz in real early and lose one so you guys have a chance.
This bastard.
No, that's a friendly thing to do. I think that was a nice thing to do. Give you a shot.
He's from Chicago, everybody. I'm so
Trying to,
sorry.
just trying to let you in, you know what I mean?
Go ahead, Doug.
Doug Woody.
I know, it's like golf. And Doug steps up to the pot ball. Doug can't read his own handwriting, is what it is. He was like, in his show prep, he was like, I think I was really high during this part.
The movie is The Fighter. Oh! Al Madrigal!
It's a misdirect because of the Jim Carrey one. So this is going to be Christian Bale.
Incorrect!
Fuck.
Andrew,
That's Melissa Leo.
that's correct.
Oh, 12 years a day. If you're taking me out to eat or something.
Well, I'm not supposed to win because there's nothing on the back of this one.
No, well, then that, anyway. Do you want to guess 3 more just to rub it in?
No.
I will.
These guys can.
I'm dying up here.
No, that's not on our top.
Wouldn't be in there yet, but I.
What's
I
the
think
Netflix movie? Is that up there?
destined to be. I think she'll, win awards.
I
for
thought they
this
sometimes do that. They put the current projects that they're working
She was in The Equalizer, which is a great movie.
Most hated woman in the world? Is that
What?
up there?
That's a movie?
It's a new
It's a Netflix movie that she's in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Most hated woman in America or
That
the
might
world?
be the best movie I've never seen.
Yeah, Most hated woman in America starring her.
What's the one?
What did
with-
you know what it was? Someone said. Most hated woman in America. Yeah, that's her.
Okay,
That's
I didn't know she was in it.
It's her. Yeah, it's her.
She's really great in that one episode of Louie.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Really, really good in that.
Where they get into an argument about her stealing material backstage.
She's also in the.
That's my
What's that
favorite.
one?
No, I think he
That's
has a
like-
bunch of sex with her.
Yeah, grabs her boob.
Oh, that was Dane Cook. I thought that was her.
Oh, right, the Dane
thought that
Cook
was Melissa
episode,
Leo.
not the Melissa Leo.
Same thing to me.
Yeah, I could see
I
that.
thought you were
They get
mistaking
confused a
them.
lot.
Come see, come saw. You know.
Is that Dan Cook or Melissa Leo? That always happens.
Then it's a
It's a
easy
fun
confusion.
game we play on this show sometimes where I'll say the name of a movie and you guys say if it's Melissa Leo or
Employee of the
Dane
month.
Cook. Are you ready? Good luck, Chuck.
Melissa Leo.
Yeah.
No, Dane Cook.
Fuck.
Shit.
Yeah. Prisoners.
Jessica Simpson.
That's not one of the options. It's Dane Cook
Melissa Leo.
or correct, Melissa Leo. Oblivion.
Melissa Leo.
Melissa
Also
Leo.
Melissa Leo, yes.
Melissa Leo.
Snowden.
Melissa Leo.
Melissa Leo is correct.
She was good in that too.
Yeah. Dan in real life.
Dane Cook.
That's correct.
Yep.
Dane
You guys
Cook.
are good at this.
Employee of the month.
Yeah, a lot of my guests wouldn't know the difference between Melissa Leo and Dane Cook.
That's why we're here to educate.
You guys really, really nailed it. And so that means Andrew Santino's our winner. So 12 years to Dave. Come get all your stuff, dude. Congratulations. All right, I gotta ask for those bags.
You want to say anything?
Give it back.
You don't want to say anything?
Any words?
Not an acceptance speech or anything?
Oh, see,
Yeah,
I
do you
still
have
win
any-
because he's got the
any words,
workaholic
Dave?
shirt on, so it's a connection still.
It's not your picture, though. It's Kyle Newcheck's picture.
Yeah.
He's not wearing a Montez shirt. Doesn't say free Montez on it. It says free Carl, right?
I don't like how you said the name. It's got a little racial.
Go in your top order of favorite characters from the show. From Workaholics.
Yeah, and tread lightly, motherfucker.
Stomp through the woods, my friend.
Let's do some plugs, you guys. Of course, I'm dying up here on Showtime Sunday nights starting June 4th. But what else you got, Eric Griffin? Where can people come see you?
You can come see me. I'm going to be in Connecticut at the Mohegan Sun on the 2nd and 3rd, or 1st and 2nd, one of those. And my hour special comes out on Showtime July 7th. It's called The Ugly Truth. And actually, all of us have hour specials. Make sure if you have Showtime on demand, make sure you catch Al Madrigal's special because it is fucking hilarious. Shrimping Ain't Easy came out on May 5th.
They gave us so they put all of our specials on as companion pieces to the show. So those will all be right there. So Andrew has one coming out.
It's coming out right now.
Mine comes out June 2nd, the Friday before the show. So June 2nd, the show is on June 4th. And then Al's 1 month later. Fantastic.
We're getting Kramer a pen.
I like it.
Yeah, we're totally hooking her up.
I want you to keep that pen, Cream.
No, I need that because the hotel.
That Hilton Inn is for you, baby.
You have to return it to the hotel. That's how those work.
That's the deal.
That's what those are about.
Mr. Benson, we've been waiting for you. Do you have the pen?
I thought they were free.
Security comes.
What's this $9 charge?
It's underneath the $17.50 charge for the porno. Who's buying hotel porn still?
Nobody. Not if they got a phone.
Because then you can call in for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still dialing those 976 numbers on your cell phone.
Talk dirty to me. Hi. Still have those ads in the middle of the night with those girls. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's like that girl.
Call me. Let's have a hot conversation.
Hi. It's really just me doing it. Hi, this is Bethany. My pussy is so wet for your eye.
We got wet pussy. We got hairy pussy.
I'm so sorry, that's my boss.
Pussy.
My manager.
You should say a number to press after each one. If you want these pussy, press 2.
We gotta start that service.
I know it, but every one you press is still the same girl. Hi, I have a hairy pussy. I have a wet pussy.
Welcome to Pussy Phone. Please make your selection of pussy you want. Press 1 for wet pussy.
Hi. I have a wet pussy.
Press 2 for huge pussy.
Hi.
Why is she talking into her own pussy?
It's so huge.
So huge. Echo. Come on,
Huge it is.
that was hilarious and quick. It was fast.
She's inside her own pussy.
That's how big it is.
That is
You do your
so
podcast
big it
in
is.
that pussy. We're in it right now.
She's co-starring in Oblivion. That's how big her pussy is. That makes the Dane cook. Al Madrigal, what do you got to plug?
Well, the special just came out.
Right.
Of course, I've got a huge scene in Snatched. I really am in there.
And that's number 5 on Pussy Phone.
Who do you interact with in your scene?
Just Amy.
Amy Schumer.
Just
That's
Amy.
fantastic.
We're killing up here.
Really good. Really good. They love it.
I've been in. We talked about this last time I was on, but I've been in the worst movie of all time, and that's what shows up in my time. I was in a movie with Christian Slater and Cuba Gooding Jr. called Lies and Illusions, where they sent me the script in final draft and said, "Go for it." I swear to God, days before my scene, I was like, oh, okay. And just got to write all my part and fucking just...
Wait, but you just said it's a terrible movie.
It's horrible.
So you didn't do a good job writing your part?
We improvised almost the entire thing. Christian Slater didn't want to deal with it. He explained to me, he goes, Al, let me tell you what we got here. He goes, this is a cash grab situation. So don't worry about it. Say whatever you want.
He's big in the improv scene. You know that, right?
Yeah. Dude, he was in a Yui Bowl movie, so he clearly doesn't. He's willing to just take the money and just do it.
I think there's a certain dollar. I see all this direct to DVD, and so that was like a foreign release. They spent about $3-4 million on the movie, and then they just released it internationally. And I think they make, a ton of money, and that's it. So Cuba Gooding Jr. gets his probably like $500,000. Christian Slater gets $500,000. And everybody's happy. They work for a month. Right, that's how it's got to work. Then they send me the script, and they don't give a fuck.
You should do the commentary track on the on the Blu-ray.
That would be so fucking great.
Well, we should do an interruption of it at Cinefamily.
Oh my God, it's so great. There's a fight.
I thought you said it was terrible.
No, it's so bad because do you ever see Transporter 2?
No. Oh, yes.
Oh, the fight in the airplane where they used just like a model plane, and it was they did that in this movie. But again, my brother was on a flight to Mexico, and he was flying with it, and he saw this Mexican guy just watching the movie on his laptop and loving it. And then my brother said in Spanish, he goes, "Do you like this movie?" And he goes, "Awesome, very good, very good." So there you go. Like fucking that guy, fucking loved it.
Validation.
Right there. I wish we'd known what else he was watching and what he thought of it.
That might have been your brother just being a supportive brother.
No.
People love it on airplanes.
We don't do that.
You sure fucking know.
If you're Mexican and you've got a laptop and you're on a plane, this is the movie for you.
Yeah.
It actually comes with Mexican laptops.
So this Presario comes with...
It's a Presario.
Doug Loves Movies is back at Cobb's in San Francisco on Saturday, June 10th at 4:20. Thank you to all of my guests. Great job, guys.
That's fun.
Yeah. Eric Griffin, Andrew Santino, and Al Madrigal.
Yeah.
And as always, fucking assholes in the Starbucks line who ask 700 questions about the goddamn sausage and egg sandwiches are a shithead.
Yes.
Good.
She's getting a valet early.
And Rory Gilmore is a shithead.
Now it's time for Doug to watch another talkie. Eyes of gold, his viewing prowess makes him cocky. There's no room in his heart for you, 'cause Doug loves movies. Hot shot first. Kitten heads across the land. Waiting for the show with Chris and Graham. Comedy Film Nerds. Comedy Film Nerds podcast. Films, popcorn flicks. If you're looking for the knowledge, we've got your fix on the Comedy Film Nerds. Comedy Film Nerds podcast.
Oh yeah, live
do
from
it.
the air-conditioned comfort of the All Things Comedy Studios in beautiful Burbank.
You know, I never get tired of the theme song. I still love the theme song.
I love it.
I know you guys get tired of it, but we
Too bad.
still kind of love it.
Hawaii
Yeah.
Five-0 had the same theme song for 12 seasons.
Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah, Star Trek was the same in syndication, so
Yeah.
that's what we're going to stick with. My name is Graham Elwood.
And I'm Chris Mancini. Welcome to the Comedy Film Nerds podcast. We got a lot of movies we're going to talk about today, including The Circle, Boss Baby, Sandy Wexler, and this episode was brought to you by HelloFresh.
Oh, shit.
HelloFresh.com. We'll be talking about a little later as well. But we got some announcements to make, for
We got
sure.
some big announcements to make. First of all, I know we're getting a lot of new listeners. For those of you just joining us, this is a movie review podcast. We talk
Yes.
about films that just came out the past weekend. We have our funny comedy friends on to give us their opinions, and we make fun of some stuff. And we give you some information.
Yes, we also drop a little knowledge on you too.
Yeah. And some fine sponsors.
Yes.
Coupon codes. What's our big announcement?
Our big announcement is the Patreon. We're working on actually adding a little more content. Now you're getting a bit of a social media bump into the Patreon.
So what we started doing, so all of you guys that gave money in April, you were just charged May 1st, and so all the rewards are starting to go out. One of the rewards at the $2 and up level is you get access to Patreon-only posts, and we just started doing that. So there's one that came out, I think yesterday, that Daniel, our social media guy, did, and we'll talk about it a little later on.
Mm-hmm.
The polls you get to vote on, and also we've said at the $5 level, you're going to get bonus audio content. We started releasing that last week.
Yep, you get a movie recommendation every week from either the guest or Graham or myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the $10 level, this is where we like everyone to be. This is where you get all of the bonus content. You're going to get the posts. You're going to get to be able to vote in the polls. You're going to get the movie recommendations, and also you're going to get an extra episode.
Yeah, and it's probably we're gonna try to get it like. We want to work towards getting an extra episode a week if we can.
Yeah.
At least 2 or 3 a month.
Yeah, that's where we're working towards. That's definitely in the goals. Right now, it's the monthly, weekly film news. So Neil goes over the news of pretty much the last couple weeks in movie news. And we did our first one. It was a great episode. It was really
it's really cool.
Fun.
He goes into a lot of stuff we didn't know.
Right. So you're getting reactions from us too, going, really?
Yeah. Did the studio really make that decision? Yeah, they did. They do a lot of dumb things. And we're also going to do the themed episodes and all that stuff. Is going to be at the $10 and up level.
So right now the $10 and up level is one bonus episode per month, but we're hoping to also to increase that, like Graham was saying.
Yeah, and then we go up to like at the $50 level. You can. It's basically like a quick ad read. Just tell us the name of your company. We'll say, joesmith.com sells shoes.
You get your name and your URL, and that's not once a month. We'll do that every episode.
Every episode. That's at the $50
So that's the $50 ad Patreon tier.
And then we've been starting to put the clips of the show on the YouTube channel, which has been cool.
Mm-hmm.
And your name is listed in the credits there.
Yep.
And
$5 and up.
$5 and up. Frank Pulaski's been helping us with that. So
Hey, Louis.
Become more consistent too as more money comes in.
Mahalo and aloha to Frank.
You guys are partners. The more people that contribute to the Patreon, the more money we have to actually create more content and do all these things for you.
Aaron just gave me this signal to get closer to the mic. He just started patting his lips at first, and I was like, "It's weird."
Was it unclear? That was a weird signal.
And it was like, dude, I was like, is he
Like
tired? What was
He's
the...
going to send up smoke signals?
What was the...
How long has it been since your last TV production class?
20-some years, actually,
Yes.
when we shot stuff on...
Well, they didn't have microphones.
No. We had a can of string. That's
Yes.
what we had at the University of Arizona. Bear down.
Ladies
Let's
and
introduce
gentlemen,
our guest.
Let's do it. Is it first-time guest?
First-time guest. Known this gentleman for a long time. We were just talking about a fantastic gig we did on Oahu many years back. He has his own podcast, I believe, that he records here at the All Things Comedy Studio. And he's a huge fan of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Byrne.
It's, by the way, this is not the first time I've been here before, but I've never been on. I just come in sometimes and hang out, and I listen, and I curl up in a corner. I have my whoopee, and I get a warm milk, and I just want to see it live in person. But this is the first time on the mics. You guys haven't seen me before, but it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So that's who that creep was hiding in the corner.
Yeah, that's
We're
right.
not-
So not in the whoopee corner.
Yeah.
All right.
This is
Welcome to the mic, Steve. What have you been up to? What's been going on?
Nothing much. Just traveling a ton. Starting from scratch again. I just had my new hour special come out on Showtime called Tell the Damn Joke.
Nice.
So that premiered the 7th of April. So now I have a blank notebook, and I'm scared as shit.
Good for you, dude. That's
Yeah.
that's bold. That's a ballsy move to just. I applaud so many comics that will then start from scratch. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, that's how you have to do it, right? I mean, there's no pussyfooting around. If you want the new hour, then you
gotta
that's how
write
you
a
get
new
it.
hour.
Yeah, that's how you do it, yeah.
So-
And I'm actually directing a documentary on the Amazing Jonathan. You guys might remember
wow.
him. Yeah, he. So we're really close to finishing it up. We're going to go interview Penn Jillette.
What's a documentary? They don't take that long.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
quick.
Yeah.
Just film them, boom, slap them together.
Did you start it
Yeah.
8 years ago?
No. Nobody got murdered.
Yeah.
We're not solving any murders. But Jonathan, great, staple on Comedy Central in the late '90s. Vegas headliner for many years. Was given a terminal heart condition 3 years ago, or 3 years ago, and he was told he had a year to live. So he's outlived expectations and decided to hit the road again. And I said somebody should make a doc about that. And then the more I started talking to him and his old road manager Joel Osborne, the more I thought, well, I'll just do it. So I just got some cameras, and we went and filmed his return shows and went through his storied career. And he's a very complicated human being with some demons, but also some unicorns in his life. So he's a great guy, and we're looking forward to getting it out
Are you
there.
self-financing this, or how are you?
Just self-financing. I started work with the folks at Lightbox that did Searching for Sugar Man and
that's a great documentary.
Man on Wire.
Wow.
So they did those docs, and I did a doc for them called China Hustle, which is coming out this year. They asked, they were looking around, knocking on doors, seeing if a comedian would go out and write some material for them, and for some reason my name had come up a few times, and I was just like, this is not my scene. But then I was like, well, it's an immense challenge to write jokes about China shorting the U.S. economy. Not in my wheelhouse, but I was like, okay, I'll just go for it. And we did it. We filmed it a few months ago, and it'll be coming out this year as well.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's There's no journey like making a documentary film.
No.
There's nothing like
We're still on ours.
We're
still not quite finished it.
Earbuds, the podcasting documentary, available at comedyfilmnerds.com, guys.
We were still filling out E&O insurance forms this morning.
Absolutely.
So let's get into it. Let's talk about the Circle.
Okay, so the Circle.
First of all, Tom Hanks movie.
Tom Hanks movie, isn't that exciting?
Yes.
America's Julia Roberts.
Yes.
Hashtag America's Julia Roberts. I'm going to write that right now. This movie is, God.
From the director of The Spectacular Now, which is a great movie.
That's a fantastic movie. The End of the Tour is a really good movie. Those are two good films. And director, so James Ponsoldt, it had an $18 million budget. And so the basic, if you haven't seen the trailer, it's Tom Hanks is running this sort of mega...
He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy. He's a tech entrepreneur.
Comes out in the trailer. He seems like a really good dude.
Really good dude.
Okay.
But what Steve, wait a minute now.
Like you'd want to know him. You'd want to hang out with him, have a beer with him, but mainly buy product from him.
Yeah, he seems a good guy.
Yeah, give me your info.
He runs a company that's basically, if you combine like Facebook and Apple, it's a megacorp tech company that does social media and everything. And if you, as you see in the trailer, they want to get all of your information. So this movie was trying to make this profound social commentary on, is being on camera 24/7, does that make you a better person? Like, doesn't that seem like an interesting debate, right? Or discussion, like, oh God, there's no privacy, but when I know I'm being videotaped, I act better and nicer, and it makes me a better person, and it can help solve crime and all this stuff. That sounds like a really cool premise. And is Tom Hanks the good guy that was doing this for noble reasons, or is he an evil businessman with a sinister thing? And Oswald is his henchman. The only compelling...
Is this Mystery Science Theater remake? Is that...
By the way, when Patton's your henchman,
yes,
it's like, how intimidating is this corporation?
Yeah, I guess they're not that mean. The only compelling scenes are with Tom Hanks, because he's Tom Hanks and he's just that good of an actor. But the movie starts out, Emma Watson has got just a crappy,
day job,
phone bank job, and a friend of hers gets her an interview at the Circle, so she gets to go on the Circle. And when she first comes on the campus, I thought it was a parody of a tech campus.
Right.
Like, they were showing like, oh, there's dogs
and,
yoga, and it was like, and literally, I thought it was like an Adam Sandler type parody over the top of what a tech
Google intern movie.
Oh my God! And then all of the people that work there, they're trying to show that they're sort of like zealots for this company, and they're all drinking the Kool-Aid and doing the corporate speak, and the Circle is the best, and it's double plus good, and all this stuff. But they're these fake two-dimensional characters that are ridiculous. Like, people were laughing in the theater.
Was the logo of a circle conspicuously looked like a piece of fruit with a bite out of it.
What do you mean, Chris? Like a pear or a tangelo? Yeah, it was that kind of stuff, and just preposterous things happen story-wise.
Was it at all like The Firm, where it was like this? Oh, there's more layers of like of like the underbelly of this corporation, where it gets more sinister and more sinister. And is there a slide like in the Star Chamber?
Well, the two movies you mentioned are interesting movies to watch, and those layers are connected and they make sense.
Right.
This movie just introduces
yeah.
things that make no sense, and
like an app update.
Like exactly, that doesn't work.
Yes.
That crashes, and you have to wait for the
Okay,
next one.
I get it now. I got it.
I gotta say, I saw the trailer. I was not that intrigued. It seemed like something I probably would have seen if I read about it.
Right.
It'd be like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. And then I saw the trailer, and I wasn't motivated to go and spend. And I love Tom Hanks, and I love Emma Watson.
Right.
By the way, she's Britain's Tom Hanks. I don't know if you've heard that. That's what she's known as.
It
over
is
there.
true. Yeah.
But like, okay, so John, if I'm saying it right, Boyega, who was in A Force Awakens.
Yes.
The black guy.
The black guy.
Just say that.
He's the
Yeah.
black guy.
Yeah.
He's introduced as someone you're like, oh, this could be intriguing, and then he sort of introduces, and then out of nowhere, just wildly introduces like the cover up and the scandal and the be careful, and then we never really hear from him again.
Right.
You know, like it's just shit like that.
A few scenes were missing.
Yeah, and then all these contrived things to further this ridiculous plot, and then like Tom Hanks is not even in the movie that much.
I was just gonna say that this sounds like this. Tom Hanks is like, look, we'll get Tom Hanks, we'll shoot him in and out in like 4 days. And then we'll just make the movie around his cameos.
Yeah, he said, I'm getting $1 million of this $18 million for my 4 days of shooting.
Right.
Put them in the trailers, and that's
Yeah, and this will help sell it, and I'm going to take off. Like on paper, it was right. This director's pedigree, Emma Watson, Tom Hanks, an interesting story. You think this could be great, but
moral ambiguity.
Moral ambiguity. It's a sad thing that it's Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton's actually good in it. He plays.
He's
Emma
great in
Watson's
everything,
dad.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, truly great in everything.
And it was his last film, and so I was just like, oh man, it's like when John Candy did Wagons East. That was his last movie.
We just talked about it last week on the Patreon. It
Yeah.
was Transformers, the animated movie, was Orson Welles' last film.
No.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
Rosebud.
Rosebud. But he was also doing
Yeah.
wine ads at the time, so things were. He was on kind of. Orson was in a.
The Transformers animated
His last
movie was his last.
Yeah, he played Unicron, the planet-eating transformer.
Which sounds like a slam against Orson Welles' weight problem.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. They were really going after him hard or something. So yeah, this movie, and then I've checked it. It's like it got 18% on Rotten Tomatoes.
And you were saying
The
that's
Circle?
pretty accurate.
Yeah, The Circle. I said that's, it's one for each one of the millions that they spent on it.
All right. Oh,
Yeah.
Tom.
Yeah, in the trailer, it looked like Johnny Boyega. Is that how you say
Yeah.
it? It looked like he would be like the love interest.
Right.
That's what I assumed in seeing it, and I thought, oh,
Wouldn't
okay.
that be neat? Wouldn't that
But,
be intriguing? And then, so, I don't know. It's Tom Hanks. He does Sully, which I really liked. I mean, he does those movies. Inferno. I know you're not a fan of those movies, but I find them entertaining. But then it's like a
Really,
hologram
all of them?
for the king, and they're entertaining. Or we just did a special thing. We talked about why you like the Transformers animated movie from the 80s.
All right. I'm just checking.
But then there's all these
By the way, he grew his hair out like a hockey mullet for the first one, right?
Yes.
Da Vinci
yeah.
Code.
Da Vinci Code, yeah.
Yeah.
You got a lot of shit for having
More hair.
more hair, yeah.
For looking like a Canadian.
Yeah, exactly,
Yes.
yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Tank's he'll do a cool thing. He'll do Bridge of Spies, and then he'll do these other movies like that.
You know, on paper, when he signed on for this, it might have looked really cool, and then what happened is not what he thought.
I recently saw Road to Perdition.
That's
I
a
went
great
back and
movie.
watched it. What a great, he's so good in that movie.
That's the scenes between him and Paul Newman.
Yeah.
When Paul Newman goes, "There's only murderers in this room," you're just like, oh, and how Tom Hanks he's so stone-faced and cold, and it's
so not him.
No,
so not him. So out of his element, but you still like him.
Yeah, you still
Well,
like
we
him,
put
and you believe him.
last week before The Circle came out, we put on the Patreon, we put a poll of we picked 10 of your favorite Tom Hanks movies, and I was hoping Road to Perdition was going to get more votes. But I think it's a fantastic film.
Great movie, yeah.
So don't go to Circle. Go watch Road to Perdition.
Yeah. Good time better spent.
Time better spent.
So now, Steve, you saw Boss Baby.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
how old are your kids?
My daughter's 5. My son is a year and a half.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say one's 30.
Yeah.
But we actually had the book and read the book and all that stuff. And, yeah, it was... I got to say, I saw the movie thinking, okay, it's another... You know, you go in, you kind of check out... Like, we saw Trolls, and Trolls was just like... Let's just jam a song in here and have them dance and sing, and it's just horrible. But you know, the kids love it. But this movie was actually really entertaining. I really enjoyed Boss Baby.
Watchable for parents too.
I thought it was watchable for parents. I thought Alec Baldwin was great. There's some lines in there that, you know, it's his inflection that made jokes out of non-jokes. Is what I would say. And yeah, you got your typical, like, let's show his ass, and, you know, he farted, and there's those jokes, which is in all of them. But there were some really great, kind of clever pieces in it. I really enjoyed Boss Baby. As soon as I came home, I was telling my wife, I was like, you got to see this movie. It was really fun. Yeah. Get back in the car, take her again. She'll go see it in 2 weeks.
How did your 5-year-old like it?
Loved it. She loved it. And then she comes home and she calls our son Boss Baby and, you know, was quoting lines and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, she definitely digs it. My daughter's a huge movie. She loves movies. And it was funny. We were flying yesterday from Hawaii and I was going through my computer. She memorizes the scroll of Star Wars films. So I was showing her something a year ago. She'd done it at 4. I think I read it to her 3 times maybe. Return of the Jedi. She knew the whole thing. With inflection. By the way,
wow,
it's like stunning. Yeah, it's
she's
truly
some sort
amazing.
Of Star Wars savant.
Love Star Wars. I have one of the best pictures. It's framed in our house is of her at the Cheesecake Factory, and she's got her hands out and her eyes are closed, and she's like trying so hard. And then she just gave up. I go, what are you trying to do? She's like, I'm trying to use the Force on my food. She was trying to lift her food up using the Force. I was like, this is fucking awesome. This is like the coolest girl ever.
Just make sure she doesn't go to the dark side, because then
yeah.
wife in trouble.
Yeah, I think that happens at 13.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
With all children.
And it's cheesecake everywhere.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this. Is there a movie, like a kid's movie, that you took that your daughter just did not like? Just tuned out?
I have to say it hasn't happened yet. I was apprehensive to show her Rogue One, so I didn't, because I saw it in the theater. I was like, "Wow, it's fucking great," but it's
intense.
Pretty violent. It's pretty intense.
5's young for sure.
And then I saw it on TV, and I was like, I think the aesthetics of not being in a theater, hearing it with the speakers, and you know, on TV, it just seemed to lessen the impact a bit more. So I showed her Rogue One at home, and she loved it. Absolutely loved it. And we went to Disney, and she was, you know, there's K2SO, and I was like, she got on board right away. So I think Star Wars is fine. And that's usually, I think, the threshold, I think, for some of these in terms of like violence or violent images.
It's a very calculated thing for Disney, especially with, you know, Avengers movies and Star Wars and stuff. I think the median age that they is like 8-ish, around there, where some kids can handle more than others. Obviously, you know, your kid, they can handle more. Like my daughter.
How old is she?
She's 12, and my son
great.
is 8.
Yeah.
And, you know, they both love the Star Wars movies. But, you know, the thresholds were different for them. Like, my daughter couldn't handle the violence earlier the way my son could.
Right.
Because, like, she actually would get upset if, like, there, you know, Godzilla, if people were dying on screen. Whereas a boy, a kid, no, more violence. They want to see
boys
more
are
things,
evil.
more things blow up, you know, earlier. There's...
he could only fall asleep to The Godfather.
Right.
James Caan toll booth scene. Put that on, Daddy. I want to get sleepies.
He just turns to his sister. I'm smart. I can do things. That's what my people say.
So I really think too, like now with Disney owning all of these properties and franchises, it's like it's a very calculated thing. We don't want to make them too violent that you know, we age out of this age group, but we also don't want to make them too boring where, you know, we're not getting them and their adults, you know, and their parents and everything. It's a fine line, but I think they're hitting it for sure.
They definitely are. They definitely hit the sweet spot, especially Force Awakens. If you compare Force Awakens and Rogue One, there is just a more I wouldn't say neutered, but a more safe approach, I think, to some of the set pieces, especially the last 30 minutes. But again, the great thing about Star Wars is you leave there knowing all their names.
Right.
And I remember we went to Disneyland after Force Awakens came out, and my daughter had just seen it once at the time, and so she was scared as shit of Kylo Ren. And we're waiting in line to go meet like Chewbacca, and then I go and we next door we can go meet Kylo Ren. She goes, I do not like the black guy, and everybody in line just turned around. They're like, what the, you know? And it's just like, and then thank God she goes in the mask. I was like, there she is. Thank you. I'm not a racist. So one of those challenges. I do not like the black guy. 1, 2, 3 in the mask. There's my girl. Yeah, thank you. Oh.
You should have just gone, that's my girl, before she said in the mask. Woo, Trump 16.
Because that's the place, too, at Disneyland. They have these areas where they're like autograph areas where you wait in line and you can either meet Chewbacca or Kylo Ren, and then, you know, they'll sign the autograph book for the kids and take pictures.
Boba Fett.
And Boba Fett, yes, there's that. But it's like all back near Space Mountain where you're not even really sure it's there. It's in this weird spot in Disneyland. And it's also one of those places that's never crowded because people don't know it's there.
Yeah.
So you can go in. They have a recreation of the canteen from like Mos Eisley. It's a really cool thing. They've got like some documentaries playing from J.J. Abrams. So if you are in Disneyland, it's a cool place to check out if you're a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, and the great thing is seeing all the kids dress up. My daughter goes as Rey every time we go, and so when those the First Order stormtroopers come walking through it, they always stop. Because all the kids want their pictures with them, but these stormtroopers keep walking through. They're just there for presents. Right. And they've always stopped to take a picture with her. It's pretty badass.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, yeah, Disney knows what it's doing.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, let me just get back to Boss Baby real quick.
Sorry, let's talk about The Circle.
Yes, yeah.
Fantastic. It's a great
Stop
movie.
talking about this.
So Boss Baby had a $125 million budget. And
for an animated film?
For an animated film.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So that's the estimated budget. Now, it's done over like $150 million gross since it came out, I think, March 31st. Let me ask you this. Both of you guys that go to a lot of these movies because you have kids. I mean, and specifically Steve with Boss Baby, was that justified or was that just like big voice paydays or like...
I think, look, I don't know what they're doing differently in terms of animation, where I couldn't tell you the difference between a $50 million animated film and a $125 million animated film. I will say this, aesthetically, it was gorgeous. There were some set pieces in there where the older brother's dreaming and he's using his imagination, like with pirates or whatever. I saw like different color patterns and color schemes I've never seen in an animated film
before.
A lot
of render time.
Yeah. You know, like when you see the Suicide Squad, the marketing campaign and the logo at the end with like this pink neon and light green. It was that's fucking cool. I've never seen that before. Like that's how I felt watching certain set pieces with Boss Baby, where just it looked gorgeous. Like the last time I saw Moana, I thought, wow, this is a beautiful looking film. I felt that way with Boss Baby, which is weird because you wouldn't think that the landscape opposite of Hawaii and Moana would lend itself to this, but
Zootopia did that too.
Yeah.
The landscapes were, you could tell there was a lot of creativity to them. Now, that's interesting. Boss Baby is going to get the best review over the 3 movies that we're going to talk about today.
Oh, wow.
That's fantastic.
I saw Sandy Wexler. Now, I wanted to see this movie because as a film podcast, we've been ignoring some of the streaming movies that have come on, and these are big deals. These are movies that normally would be out in the movie theaters with giant billboards and campaigns behind them, but Netflix is changing the rules. However, they're not making the movies better. So.
But honestly, though, the thing is, and it's why it is important for one of us to see it and talk about it, is because they are changing the rules.
It took me 3 days to get through it, by the way.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I couldn't watch. I had to.
Every time, the 2 times you hit resume playing, like,
how much longer?
Here we go.
You look at the time bar. It's an comedy. You think, well, it's 89 minutes or something. No, this movie is 2 hours and 11 minutes.
Sandy Wexler's 2 hours.
2 hours and 11 minutes long.
Get the fuck
It's
out
like
here.
this weird, epic Hollywood story. If I mean, the only way I could describe it is if Adam Sandler made Broadway Danny Rose, and that's what this movie was.
Star Smile Strong.
Yes.
That's, but worse. You said, right?
Oh my God. Yeah. Not, but horrifyingly incompetently made.
Well, the thing, let me just say this though. Why it's important that you did see this is I didn't have to. That's the first thing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No, but
So you pass the baton from the circle to Chris. He's like, all right, I'll take it over from here.
flip a coin on which bag of shit you got to watch. But no,
We do that sometimes.
it is relevant, and we can't not acknowledge these movies, because what is significant here is the first one of these Sandler films that came out a couple years ago, the Hateful Eight, his
Yes.
joke on that one.
Right.
The Cobbler is one of them in there.
The
and-
Ridiculous Six.
Uh-huh.
So when that came out in 2015, I was told it crashed Netflix. So many people wanted to see it. And then he's done the do-over in 2016.
Right.
And so his movies are the most streamed anything on Netflix.
Yeah, I don't think Netflix has buyer's remorse because of the amount of eyeballs that they're getting from these films, regardless of the quality.
Well, it makes sense
Yeah.
because look, the majority of Sandler's movies in the 90s in the old model, like even Little Nicky, tanked at the box office, but it made a bunch of money overseas and a bunch of money in back then in DVD when
Right.
And it was
Blockbuster
also
the
one of
thing.
the failures of their films of Happy Madison because it had such a much higher budget. Like they
Right.
were used to having these Rob Schneider movies or Joe Dirt,
With
whatever. with
$15
these
million
tiny,
budget, get 10,
tiny,
yeah.
tiny budgets, 10 million, 15, and then like, oh, this movie only made 5-10 million in its opening weekend. They're like, well, who cares? It only we started.
yeah.
But
Yeah, we got our
I
money
think
back.
the thing that, and what Netflix tapped into here with these is they realized, looking at his video sales, his global video sales always were amazing.
Right.
And so that's why you're like, why do they keep making this? Oh, it was out of the theaters in 2 weeks because so what they did though is you went and you didn't go to the theater to see these. You'd go to the video store and get stoned and watch his movies.
Yes.
Now you do that on Netflix.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know, and this movie was such an interesting mess because
It seemed like it wanted to be sweet. It wanted to be
it had
funny.
all the,
it wanted to be.
It really had this air of like, well, this is Adam Sandler trying to kind of have an air of authenticity because it's based on his manager of many years,
Right.
Of Sandy Wernick. So you really had this kind of shoehorned in, kind of like
Schmaltz.
poignant feel to it,
Right.
But it didn't work at all because it's Adam Sandler doing this really weird, goofy, Jerry Lewis voice, and every scene he's in makes it weaker and weaker and weaker as the film progresses because there's 100 cameos in it.
Yeah.
Judd Apatow, Colin Quinn, Weird Al Yankovic. I mean, there's all these. Cameos, and there was a couple of nostalgic parts for it, especially too because it's set in the '90s and part of the comedy scene.
They
so
shot
you
at the
see,
Improv, the Hollywood
you
Improv.
saw the Improv,
Yeah.
you saw Bud, and we're like, this is kind of when we were at the Improv in
Right.
the '90s, and so there was kind of like it had that little bit of authenticity to it that most Adam Sandler films don't have. So I'm looking at this movie and I'm watching it and I'm like, this is like an attempt to try to add like a little just reality into this film, but it fails so horribly on so many different levels, and then also there's like no jokes in it. There's a couple funny jokes in it, but again, 2 hours and 12 minutes long. It's a long time to wait between jokes. And Kevin James is in it as a ventriloquist. There's an Adam Sandler formula that Jay Leno also does, is where whatever the obvious joke is, whatever the first joke that comes into your head, that's what we're gonna go with. There's not that here's what the setup is. Let's try to figure out a different way to approach this joke, this scene. There's none of that in any Adam Sandler movie ever, and this movie is no exception. And this is the type of movie that deserved that, and it could have made it a little bit more interesting or more just even just more coherent. But then the most glaring aspect of what went wrong was this weird chemistry between Jennifer Hudson and Adam Sandler. That was the love interest. Jennifer Hudson and Adam Sandler. Just think about that for a second.
I don't.
Yeah. And I don't know if there's a mathematical formula of chemistry, but this would be absolute zero. It was she's trying her best to act like she would really be falling in love with Adam Sandler, and this weird voice, and how he's like always lying to clients, and it fell completely flat.
It's such a shame because you grow up, like most of us, we're all probably the same age, and Sandler was the shit.
Yeah,
Could do no wrong.
And now it's almost like he's doing these Ernest Goes to Camp movies where it's just like just pumping them out, doesn't care, show up to promote stuff in sweatpants. It's like, dude, could you just give a shit a little bit? Because I'll be back on board, but it's just like he's just phoning it in.
That's really what it feels like.
I'm so bummed.
Yeah, and this is the one time where the opportunity was there to do something better.
But he always makes the same mistake.
Yeah.
He first of all, Steve, you make a great point. So many of his movies, I feel like, are first drafts. It's like what you said, Chris. There's the obvious joke. They don't sit there and go, "Here's a funny premise. Let's make it better."
Yeah.
Right.
Like if you've ever had a writing gig, if there's a good producer, showrunner, whatever, they go, "Give me more on this."
Yeah.
Give me more on this. And so
think of it in a different way.
Think of it in a different way. And the other thing, when he tries to go serious, he can't. The only time he's been able to do it is in Punch Drunk Love, when Paul Thomas Anderson
sat on it,
forced him.
Right? Yeah.
Forced him to do it. And it's like you see his talent and ability. He is funny.
Genuinely, yeah, absolutely.
He's a genuinely funny guy. He's a nice guy. And you look at, I remember when Punch Drunk Love came out, which was 15 years ago, and I was like, oh yes, more of this.
Yeah.
More of this.
And you never saw it.
You never saw it. It's like Burt Reynolds. Like literally, Burt Reynolds did Deliverance and The Longest Yard, and then fucking Stroker Ace and Smoking the Bandit 9, and just like.
I mean, no one can accuse Adam Sandler of making great movies, but they hit a mark for sure, and they were massively successful, one after the other.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter; they were reviewer proof. But now, like you said, these really feel like you're not only are you phoning it in, but here was an opportunity to make something a little bit more real, a little bit more poignant, and you have all these great cameos. Judd Apatow and all these other people are in this movie. And you just waste this opportunity to do
like
phoned
Steve
in
said,
bullshit.
we would all jump back on board.
Completely. If he had a great, I mean, I'd love to see one that was great, but I haven't heard anybody go, "You got to see this new stuff." I'd be like, "Yeah, I want to."
This movie,
I want to.
It felt like the first draft. It was 30% towards a good movie. Like it was like just if it was just completely retooled and redone and just thought about in a different way, it could have been interesting.
You almost wondered, does he hate his manager?
Yeah.
Like,
it really felt that way. I'm like, well, now you're just kind of making fun, and not even in an interesting way. Like, we've already seen Broadway Danny Rose, and it's a classic. If you're going to make that movie, you can't make a worse version of it.
Right. Yeah,
and that's what happened.
That's too bad.
So there, I took one for the team. And
they're
it took,
gonna keep
and it took
making
a
them.
long time.
2 hours, 11 minutes.
3-day journey.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the good folks at HelloFresh.
Yeah. Now, here's what's exciting about them. They are actually lowering their prices.
No.
Yes.
It already was so affordable, Chris.
I know. Now they're less than $10 a meal.
Oh my God.
Less than $10 a meal because there's a lot of competition coming on the market.
It is.
But you want to stick with HelloFresh. They do veggie boxes, classic boxes. You can order 3, 4, 5 different meals per week, designed for either 2 or 4 people, and there are new recipes every week.
Well, that's the thing I love about these guys is if it's, as I've said before, I don't.
You're still using them.
I still use them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the patience to go hand pick parsley and whatever.
No.
I'm not going to get that. But they send you all the ingredients.
We're not cavemen. No. What are we going to pick out our own produce?
What am I, a sommelier? I mean, come on. Somewhere between a caveman and a pretentious dick is HelloFresh.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to find that sweet spot.
So they send it all to you, and it's easy because if you showed me the ingredients and what was required, maybe I might go, oh, I can't do this, too easy. They make it so easy. The meals cook you about 30, 40 minutes.
Right.
And super healthy and better than I could ever do.
Yeah, and it's also the kids like it too. Like they have the family box is a little more family friendly where there's less spice and stuff like that. So it's a good choice because our kids are picky eaters. A lot of kids are. The other thing I like about HelloFresh is you could stop at any time. You're going on vacation or you're off this week. It's spring break or whatever.
You got to get through Sandy Wexler.
You got to get through Sandy Wexler. Yeah, I got to stockpile supplies to get through this movie. And you can say, all right, no HelloFresh this week or no HelloFresh next week, and then you can just resume when you're ready.
Because you can't have food in your stomach when you watch Sandy Wexler.
No, you can't. It makes it harder. But we're not going to make you guys pay full price. That would be crazy.
Come on, what are we, dicks?
Why don't we do $30 off the first week of HelloFresh? Go to HelloFresh.com and use the coupon code ComedyFilmNerds30. We wanted to make it as long as possible.
Comedy Film Nerds 30.
Comedy Film Nerds 30.
That's how old Chris and I are. We're 30 years old.
HelloFresh.com.
We started doing stand-up when
we
we were 3.
Yes, like Boss Baby. So do it. Comedy Film Nerds 30.
Let's talk about a couple of trailers
Let's
we
talk
all
about it.
watched.
Oh my God, 47 meters down. This trailer about being stuck in a shark tank with these giant CG sharks that don't even look real looked hilarious to me.
Yeah, and it's what did you say, Steve, about Liam Neeson's daughter?
Liam Neeson's daughter just needs to stay home.
Yeah.
She should not leave the home.
Yeah, she's
just
always
in trouble.
Taken by something or someone.
Or a shark or something
Yeah.
bad.
I'm gonna go visit this cave in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
No,
No, don't do that.
don't
You're
do
not
that.
supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 47 meters down.
Riding a bicycle through a minefield seems fun.
Yeah.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's like, oh, this is really what it is. It's that typical trope of like, let's do something absolutely ridiculous. What could go wrong? And it's a shark thing.
But like, why is
So
the cable? Who wouldn't check the cable?
Right.
The cable is like tethering and springing and just like.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you would check, right? Like you do a
Right.
safety check
Yeah.
before you board the boat. It's like, and then of course you see ting 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 bing.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you're like,
maybe I
of
should,
course.
You'd see one tether and go, nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's some when you actually watch them. I'm sure there's some horrible exposition dialogue of like, "Hey, Jimmy, you're gonna fix that cable? It'll be
Okay.
fine.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
have the
yeah,
money
yeah.
yet.
I'll
We
get
just-
to it later.
Yeah, as soon as
So-
we get through these two rich
Now-
Americans, we'll be."
This is Matthew Modine's The Circle. So
Oh.
you know he was in and out in like what 2 days? Or like give him a couple.
No, I think it was more
$100,000.
than that. I think he went. They're shooting this in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I bring my family? There's
Yeah.
you guys got a house for
All
me?
right. All right, I'll throw a bunch of kids to the sharks.
Yeah.
So this movie is it's all one location underwater with a bunch of CG sharks, but they look so fake and so ridiculous. I really feel like now I'm going out on a limb on this. I really feel like that this is going to be one of those self-aware horror comedies where it looks so ridiculous that they're in on the joke for it. If it's not and it's treated seriously, it's a complete swing and a miss.
I'm wondering because they show you everyone who's going to die in the movie in
Right.
the trailer.
Yeah.
Because they do that quick cut horror thing where the shark is like,
About to chomp.
How many near misses were there? By the way,
Yeah.
there's like at least 8.
There's only 2 people in the cage.
And there's
Yeah.
2 hot girls at the beginning and 2 dudes on vacation. Like, you girls got to try something different. They're like, yeah, and they all do shots. I thought they were the next scene was going to be them having anal.
right.
But it's like doing something different is getting in a cage and hang with sharks. It's like the minute you see that fin come out of the water, it's like, fuck this.
Yeah,
know,
no.
Who would want to do that?
Giant fin.
Yeah.
And literally the fin of like a 40-foot shark.
Oh yeah, and you guys just dress in these SEAL suits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, wear a chum mask.
Yes.
And get yourself to.
We're on our period. Is that bad? Get in the water. Get in the water.
These flippers are made from salmon. All right.
yeah.
So it's just like, it makes. I hope, Chris, you're right, because it is. I wonder, like, maybe they are so self-aware that this is the first Sharknado or something. Like,
Right, yeah.
because, and they're the fastest, craziest sharks I've ever seen in my
Oh
life.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
like alien sharks.
Yeah.
That's why it's so like they're not even trying to make them look like real sharks. So
The shark ate the phone.
right, yeah,
It
the
ate a
shark
phone.
ate the phone. Yeah, exactly.
Have you guys been fishing? I've been fishing where you cast a line in where the fish are, and they will swim past the bait. They will
Right.
swim past.
Yeah.
This shark ate a fucking phone.
It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't even like a fish-shaped phone.
No,
like in a case or something.
No.
I should just go from that tower to
Did you
this
get the new
tower and
tuna
skip
can
that tower. But
case for your iPhone? Yeah, this movie. I hope.
I'll go see it.
Yes.
Mandy Moore in a bathing suit. I'm going.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll go see it.
All right.
I love her.
And
Steve's got a certain specific set of skills.
Absolutely.
Now,
I do have a
and,
very specific.
now
set of
trailers. We also have Once Upon a Time in Venice. Now this is the new Bruce Willis Taken movie, or actually it's more like a John Wick, because his
Yeah.
dog gets instead of killed, his dog gets.
Dog gets kidnapped, and he's got a desk with a bunch of
Guns on
guns
it,
on-
Once,
guns
you
in-
know, with a flip open. We all have that flip up desk
Yep.
where it's like you
this
know,
one
it's
right
like,
here at All
right,
Things Comedy. We can flip this open,
Yep,
and
yep.
there's
Then
a rocket
machine
launcher.
guns
Porn.
underneath. Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Now you're making me curious. I think it might actually do that.
well, this movie.
Let's try something different.
Yeah.
Cheers. Yeah, I don't know about this flick because I love. This seemed like a movie Bruce Willis would have done 15 years ago.
Right.
Right.
You know, it doesn't seem.
Well, the question we were all having when we were watching the
It
trailer.
got funny later in the trailer, like not like right away. At first, I think they're taking it very seriously, but now towards the end, is this a parody?
But yeah, is
funny?
this movie self-aware of those Bruce Willis '90s action
Yeah.
movie? This time
Yeah.
it's personal. Like,
Yeah.
is that?
I don't know.
Because you asked a great question, Chris. Did they? Is this movie just awful, and they're like, there's nothing they can do with it, or did they screw up the trailer? And they didn't cut it like a comedy, because we've talked about this a lot on this show.
Right.
They so often do not know how to cut a trailer
No.
for a comedy.
Like if this is this looks like if it is an actual action comedy, it could be kind of fun and funny and
Right.
like a good escapist John Wicky type movie.
Right, like a John Wickish or Jack Reacher that's kind of making fun of that a little
Of John
more.
Wick and Jack Reacher
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
those
Right.
movies. Yeah.
But it's almost like McGruber was great at parodying everything you've ever seen in an action
Right.
film. He's
Right.
pulling up his friends after he assembles the team, and it's fucking one of the greatest like films about. But this in the trailer, I never got a sense that they were self-aware.
Yeah.
I got a sense that they had jammed in a few jokes, especially at the end. And you look on paper again. It's a great cast.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
John
Love
Goodman's in it.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seemed like something that if I was in a movie theater, I'd rent it. But I don't know that I'd go pay. To
I
see
feel
it.
like I'm going to see this on a
On an
plane,
airplane,
6
yeah.
months down the
It's an
road. I'm
airplane
going to be
movie.
flying to
Yeah,
a gig
yeah,
and
yeah.
see this on a plane, and I'm going to go, oh, that's cool. It's in Venice. It's kind of near where I live.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, I know that place.
Right
That's
after I
cool.
watch Earbuds and make sure the counter goes up by 1 for
Yeah.
our license.
Let's hope. You're assuming we're going to be on it. Get an airplane deal?
Oh, we're gonna get an
yeah,
airplane
all right.
deal. Yeah.
All right. I'll switch airlines.
Yes.
Being the one I fly on drags people off the plane. I won't
Yeah.
name names, but that's United Airlines that I've been flying with. They're
Yes.
assholes.
Yeah. Oh no, you have a lot of points with them.
I've flown over 1 million miles with those guys, and I saw that footage. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Now I wonder if you had more points. Like, do you not get dragged off? Depends on how many points you have.
I'm sure that guy. What's your status? Oh,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
you're not a Premier Executive Gold Plus or Platinum. Well, then that's his fault.
Yeah. Fly more.
You should fly.
Don't get dragged off.
You fly more,
Yeah.
they don't have to drag you off.
Exactly.
Like a savage. All right, what else we got going on?
So, oh no, we want to talk about the DVDs
Yeah.
coming out. A Dog's Purpose. This was one of the movies that was shrouded in controversy with the treatment of the dog on set. Didn't get a chance to see this movie. The kids definitely wanted to see it. We'll probably check it out on DVD and Blu-ray.
I never saw the video. Was it that bad?
The video's kind of bad.
Well, the problem is too. It's like part of it's real, part of it's like a CG dog. It's kind of cut together in a weird way. So there's like all this controversy, like which part of it is real, which part isn't. Why is it cut this way?
Yeah.
But there were statements by the producers that some bad shit that shouldn't have happened went down on the set. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, it just felt a little. The reaction by some of the people with regard to the film and the director felt to me. Who knows? I wasn't there, but it felt to me a little bit like backpedal spin control.
Yeah.
You know, just yeah.
There was a lot of hey, don't blame me. There was a lot of that too. Like hey, I was like something went wrong and I'm kind of partially responsible, but there was no definitive. This happened. It was my fault. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There was not,
Right. No accountability.
Yeah,
about it.
there was like it was like meandering accountability if that exists.
Which is weird
Yeah.
because America, everyone's so accountable. Everybody, the government, corporations, that's all they do. They wake up and go, how can we be accountable and be honest and transparent to the American people? Both political parties are like that.
Well,
It's
I don't know
fantastic.
about that.
What else? Rings.
So this is the horror movie sequel that no one saw.
Nope.
So-
And they probably won't see it now.
And
The first Ring, The Ring, was phenomenal.
Right.
Great.
No, you're
movie.
talking about the Japanese one or the American remake?
The with Naomi Watts.
Yeah.
Yes.
That one was. It was like
It was
unlike
terrifying, too.
any other horror film. I was like, this is a legit movie. Like
Yeah.
it's you may, like The Exorcist or The Omen. It was like this is
Yeah.
great, and then it just that franchise took a bath and so disheartening
grab.
for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did you see the original Japanese version?
No.
Check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, check-
Ringu. I
Okay.
think it's called. It's definitely Interestingly, there's a couple of like literally shot by shot same scenes.
Oh, wow.
in them. Yeah, like you could tell there was a real effort to keep the spirit of the first one into the American remake.
Well, mission accomplished on that one.
Yeah, definitely, because it was good and creepy. Both of them were good and creepy. Gold.
This movie perplexes me so much.
You guys see it?
I have not seen it because it's the Matthew McConaughey film. Stephen Gaghan directs it. It looked like a
Oscar bait movie.
Oscar bait movie. It looked like, oh, this is McConaughey. He's looking all bald and ugly and crazy, and it's based on a true story. Like those Oscar pedigree, based on a true story. Good-looking A-lister being ugly. Like,
Yes,
these are all. Let's make an.
It was his monster.
It is, and it's like, I mean, that's how he got Dallas Buyers Club. I mean, he lost all that weight. Like, this is, oh man, okay, and it just, I think there's, I don't know.
There was some disconnect.
There's some
somewhere.
disconnect.
Yeah.
I'm so curious to see this, to look at it and go,
what happened?
did the critics just get pissy with it? They rub them the wrong way.
Is it great? Was the marketing on it wrong?
Was the marketing wrong?
Yeah, you
or
don't
is it
know.
like, oh, I see?
It kind of that sounds to me like The Founder, the Michael Keaton movie about McDonald's, where I read all this stuff and I thought, oh, this is going to be an award season kind of film, and then it just kind of fizzled. And I actually went to the theater and saw it, and he was phenomenal in the movie. He was so good.
Michael Keaton was good in the movie.
But I thought the movie was good, but he was great.
Yeah.
He was better than the film.
The movie definitely could have been a lot better. We had talked about this before on a couple different episodes. It's you get saddened by like a missed opportunity where the Coen brothers were up to direct it. Imagine how great it would have been if they were.
Oh, wow, yeah.
But they were just too busy.
Yeah, I'm curious. I really want to see Gold. I really want to see where it went wrong.
And then now this next movie you really enjoyed. This is I Am Not Your Negro.
I Am Not Your Negro, in my opinion, was, and it was a very strong best documentary.
By the way, those were on his T-shirts, his first merch.
Yeah, it was I'm Not Your I sold a lot of those.
Tons, yeah.
And then they did better than the Palm Strikes.
They were just, union made.
They were union made for sure. As I said, the
not cotton.
No, sir. No, sir. It was a blend. This was one of the stronger docs I've seen in a while. As we said, the doc category for the Academy Awards was they had a lot of really solid nominations. OJ, which ended up winning. 13th is a very good movie, but I Am Not Your Negro, I recommend everybody seeing because it is more confrontational and they do an excellent job of cutting in interview footage from James Baldwin and news footage from currently of what's going on in America.
Yeah.
And it's like, part of it's like, not much has changed.
It's so funny. Not so funny. It's not funny at all. But I just seen a new doc on Showtime, called Burn Motherfucker Burn, about the LA riots.
Oh, yeah.
And you hear a lot of the sentiment in the neighborhoods about the justice system. And then, literally, you could just turn on the TV and
hear the same
stuff with Black Lives Matter. It's just like, what is going on? Like, nothing has really moved forward in terms of the agenda. So it's crazy to think, because I'm Not Your Negro, that took place in the 60s, right?
60s and 70s, yeah. So James Baldwin, it's all these, and they get also the director gets great interviews from there was a TV show that Malcolm X and Dr. King were on. So it's like you're hearing their points
Sesame
of view.
Street?
Yeah, it's sunny day. You're seeing a great thing Bobby Kennedy says, and then James Baldwin's immediate response to it, and it's like this movie. I think every American, regardless of your ethnicity, needs to see this film because of what you just said. There's been very little change, so you need to go back to the history of why, and look at the problems from back then and who was trying to deal with them. And part of it is there's not a lot of leaders. They were killed. I mean, literally, and everyone needs to face this. And I don't think America doesn't like to face the truth of a lot of things. Our history, Americans, as I've said, they don't want
Netflix's deal with Adam Sandler.
No one wants to face that. They won't reveal the budget.
No. Unknown.
Unknown. But no one wants to. Americans don't want to know how the sausage is made.
Right.
And if you want to know why
we like sausage.
The unrest is still as prevalent, and the inequalities are still as prevalent as they've ever been.
Check out the doc.
Yeah.
Now, the next two movies are Jobs, The Salesman, and The Comedian.
This is Jobs
So-
board.
Yeah.
So send in your resumes,
Yes.
guys.
This is the Iranian movie that I definitely wanted to check out on DVD, The Salesman.
Yeah.
And,
This is another Oscar pick that slipped through the cracks
yes.
for me.
And The Comedian. This is the, wasn't this the Robert De Niro movie, right?
I was intrigued because I read some stuff on this, and I know Jeff Ross had written some
Material for it.
Material, or he might have written the screenplay with somebody else. I think he was partners with somebody. And I was, I love Jeff. He's one of the nicest guys you guys know. He's the sweetest. And so I saw the trailer, and the first half was great, and then, the trailer was cut in a way. It's just like, oh, it's about him ending up with this girl, and it's like, no, I don't give a shit, because I wanted to see the comedian's life. I wanted to see
Right.
somebody coming to grips with the end of his career, or the fact that he's in trouble and he's got to do that. To me was the interesting aspect of the film.
And for us, it's a how-to.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, exactly, yeah. But the minute I saw the girl, I'm like, oh fuck, here, I'm done. I'm not gonna see this. I don't know.
So, and the site spotlight and the fan feedback. Now, the weekly film news is back. You definitely want to check out what Neil has to say. And also, what he puts on the site is still different than the podcast that we do. There's a lot of new stuff we talk about only on the Patreon podcast.
Yeah, and it's the site, the article is that's written, and then we go into depth with the Patreon. But also in terms of fan feedback, so Daniel put a photo of Hulk and Thor from the Incredible Hulk TV show with Lou Ferrigno.
From the 70s,
From the
yeah.
70s?
When they made a series of movies where there were like Marvel team-ups. There was a Daredevil one, there was a Thor one, and I think there was one more. I can't remember. There was like a third one.
Well, Spider-Man was pretty
Well, there
big
was
back in the day.
the
Captain-
Black Widow was in one of them too.
Right.
He falls in love with her. Yeah.
That's right. So Daniel puts his photo up and says, caption this photo, and you guys on the Patreon page.
Really funny.
It was hilarious. Like, because they're both wearing, I haven't seen, Lou Ferrigno's hair is all crazy, and he's got the pants on,
Yeah.
and they both,
Oh, yeah, the wig.
and Thor is shorter. It just looks
Yeah.
like, it's just like he doesn't look
It
that
just
big
looked
and strong.
and there wasn't a lot of costume design back then. It was like, we'll just kind of make this look like Asgardian armor somehow.
Yeah, they just went into wherever they shot that, Universal or Warner Brothers, and they just
Right.
went in the wardroom and went, I don't know, does this hat fit? There
Yeah.
you go, put that.
Right. Was there a Valkyrie in some musical somewhere? We just give that to Thor.
So yeah, that was so more of those. I love reading those. Thank
So
you,
yeah,
guys.
and there'll be more of those on the Patreon too.
Yeah.
And we love to read your comments for sure.
Coming out this week.
Kind of a big movie coming out this week.
Yeah, the Chuck Wepner story. Everyone's really
Chuck.
getting excited for
Yeah.
Chuck Wepner's story. Hats off to Lev Schreiber for telling the
Yep.
story of the real Rocky.
Yep, can't wait to see it.
And we're all probably going to watch it on a streaming service because we will be at Guardians of the Galaxy 2 this
Yes.
weekend.
Neil already has his tickets. There'll be a review as soon as possible, and we are so excited to see this movie. I cannot wait for this movie.
We've talked about we're going to do a spoiler rep.
But the early reviews seem extremely positive on it too.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
I think the combination of, first of all, Marvel in general just knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they got the first one so right
So right.
and established it in such a great way that they know, like, they'd have to really go out of their way to screw it up. They'd have
yeah.
to, like, abandon everything they did correctly and just... It would be like a sports team, like a football team that's like got a great receivers and a great quarterback, and go, all right, now we won the Super Bowl. Let's run the ball. Let's hand it to our running back who's not that great. Like
Yeah.
I think this is I'm so fired.
James Gunn knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
This is going to be fantastic.
And now there's actually Disneyland. They're opening the ride to correspond.
Yeah, that's right,
with,
yeah.
This is the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror is no more. It's now a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of drop ride.
Yeah.
So they just repaint
rethemed.
the-
They rethemed it pretty much. So next time we go, we'll have to try the Guardians of the Galaxy drop ride.
So instead of hearing that guy do that, and that you're entering the Twilight Zone, you're just going to be like, Groot, and then you just drop.
Yeah, then
and
you
that's
just drop.
it.
Do
Yeah,
not
so-
push this button. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
All right, got it.
So that's it. That's where we'll be this weekend.
That's our
Same
show. We'll
place
be
as you
Guardians of
guys.
the Galaxy. We'll all be dressed up as Groot.
Yep.
Episode 368. I think that's it.
It's in the books.
Lock it down.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Byrne, where can people find you on the World Wide Web? Tour dates, comedy sketchings,
Craigslist, Groupon, Gold Star. No, Steve Byrne Live. Everything is Steve Byrne Live. BYRNE, LIVE. Been touring a lot, and yeah, that's it.
And the name of your special again?
Tell the Damn Joke.
And
Yeah,
that's
it's,
available
on Showtime. You can stream it now.
And the name of your documentaries?
The doc that's coming out is called China Hustle, and then the doc I did with Jonathan is Always Amazing.
Oh wow!
Because it was he referred to Letterman introducing him as Always Amazing. He said that was it. My life set. And we thought, a good title.
Wow,
So, yeah.
that's awesome.
Well, when that's done and out, let us know. And then
Absolutely,
we'll,
yeah.
make-
You guys can
make sure
butcher it.
every-
Yeah.
yeah.
Steve Byrne is an asshole. Can't wait to crucify your movie.
It took
That'll
me
be-
3 days to watch.
Yeah. It's I can make it 2 hours and 12 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Has Steve Byrne ever seen a film? Does he know what he's doing? What did he edit it on? His fucking Palm Pilot? Which they have great editing software in the Palm Pilot.
But thank you guys for having me. It was great to hang.
Yeah, man. Thanks for
cool.
being on the show.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
it was.
Love it.
It's been. We've been trying to get you on for a while, so this is great. And
He
what's
also has a podcast on this very network.
Oh, the Gentleman's Dojo with Gary Cannon. Yeah.
Oh,
Gary Cannon. It's basically, we have guests, but he just shits on me the whole time. So that's the
That's the purpose of the
relationship.
show.
Yeah, he
Gentleman's
shits
Dojo.
on me constantly. Yeah.
I like the title of that.
Yeah.
Outstanding. So listen to Gentleman's Dojo. I will be May 10th. I'm going to be one of the comedians on the All Things Comedy Presents at the Comedy Store, which will be awesome. I think it's like Bill Burr, Bert Kreischer, Jackie Cation, Christina Pazinski. It's a fantastic lineup. I think it's might already be close to sold out. If not,
Oh, that's
yeah,
great.
it's sold
Main
out.
room, right?
Main room. I haven't been in the Comedy Store in 15 years.
Wow.
And I've never performed on the main room.
Oh, you have?
I've only done the original
Oh, wow.
room and the belly room. So this is, I'm
Main
excited.
stage.
This is it. Last, and everyone tells me it's a lot different from when you were there in the 90s.
Yes, I'm sure.
So, yeah, that's where I'll be May 10th. And then, go to patreon.com/comedyfilmnerds.
Yes.
Earbuds is for sale. LA Podfest is October 6th through the 8th. Tickets still on sale, of course. The hotel rooms are going fast. Bill Burr and Bert Kreischer are in the festival. We've
Yes.
announced a bunch of others, so go to lapodfest.com. Check that out.
Definitely. And also with the Patreon, like you said, we have that ad tier. So if you want your name and URL of your business mentioned on every show, that's the $50 tier on Patreon.
Yes. And join my YouTube show, The Political Vigilante. Hear me rant and rave against the system.
The establishment.
The establishment.
I love you, Graham. You're my favorite.
Thank
Of all of them.
All
My
right.
favorite opinions. I love you. China.
That is our show.
That's our show. Steve, we're doing an impression of a creepy fan.
Yes.
And we want to thank everybody at All Things Comedy. Thank you to Aaron. Did you bring in the R this week? Is it Brungard, or did you leave it off?
Oh, it's there.
All right.
It's not going anywhere.
It should be silent. Or you should put it differently. It should be Grart.
No, there should never be bung in the name.
Let's try something different.
Yeah.
Aaron Brungard, ladies and gentlemen, moving his R around
Freely.
freely. I don't think he should. I don't like how he moves his R around,
But he keeps his D right where it should be.
That's damn right. Yeah.
Always to the left. Always to the left.
That's our show. My name is Graham
And
Elwood.
I'm Chris Mancini. And as always, remember,
Han shot first.
I shot first. Kitten heads across the land. Wait for the show with Chris and Graham. Comedy Film Nerds. Comedy Film Nerds podcast. Indie films, popcorn flicks. If you're looking for the knowledge, we've got your fix on the Comedy Film Nerds. Comedy Film Nerds podcast.
Hello, citizens of Comedy Film Nerdland. The reason I fumbled over that, I've never said it before. It doesn't make any sense. I was trying to say it like it's a thing we always say.
yeah.
Hey, citizens of Comedy Film Nerdland. That's too clunky.
It's episode 370. It's
It
pretty
is.
exciting.
It's halfway to 740,
Yeah,
so
we're nearly there.
we're nearly to 740. Oh,
We're getting there.
we're a third of the way to
Something.
Something.
A third of the way to math.
10 or something. We're a third of the way to math. We're a third of the way to 10, 1100.
Sure.
Nah, that's not. I did it wrong.
So, Aaron, why don't you get the answer for me? 370 times 3. And while
It's
we
1110.
It's 1110.
There you
Third of the way
go.
to 1110.
Third of the way to 1110,
Nice.
guys.
Mhm.
We are here in beautiful ATC studios
Mhm.
with Brenton doing social media. So when you see those like 60-second clips on the Comedy Film Nerds Instagram,
It's not a robot. Somebody's actually
there's
doing
a guy
it.
doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one doing it here. They're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
I also want to thank he does the social media over. We were doing the ATC show, stand-up show, ATC Presents at the Comedy Store last week, which was awesome. Bill Burr was on the show, Bert Kreischer, Christina Pazinski, Jackie Cation, Bobby Lee, Alonzo Bowden. My first time back in the store in 15 years, which was awesome. And my first time ever performing in the main room, which was sold out. It was awesome. I had a blast. It was really cool to see. And the Comedy Store has become like the spot.
Yeah.
This outdoor patio bar, and it's like
3 rooms at once that are just packed every night, it seems like.
every night. Everything's going.
Crazy.
All right. It sounds like it's gone through like a resurgence.
For sure.
Yeah.
They've really. Jackie, you said to me, well, when Mark Maron started coming back here 7 years ago, he made it cool again. Or something. That's what Jackie's theory was. So.
Well, we got a lot of movies we're going to talk about.
Yes,
We're going
we
to do
do.
King Arthur, Slight, Chasing the Lotus, The Red Turtle, some great trailers we're going to be talking about, War of the Planet of the Apes, and Wonder Woman. But first, we have an announcement to make about earbuds and Kickstarter. This is very exciting. The rewards have all gone out.
All gone out.
Oh, they've all gone out. We shipped out our last batch. Or Aaron shipped out our last batch last week. So, and so if you don't get something within the next week or two and you're still missing a reward, email us at info@comedyfilmnerds.com and we'll give us your Kickstarter info and we will hook you up. Occasionally we get that stray email that says, I didn't know it was finished. How do I get my download? So
Where have you been the
last 18 months?
What have you been doing?
So if that's the case, don't worry, we'll hook you up.
And thank you guys for your patience. I know
Yes.
it took a while, but we got it all done. So
Cost overruns, time overruns, everything that could have happened with an independent documentary did happen tenfold.
yeah,
So-
but we got it done, and part of it was the Patreon extra money. Now that's helping like it was some of our financial costs and everything. So you're really everyone who's backing the Patreon, you're helping the show in a multitude of ways.
Yeah, so if you backed Patreon, you helped Kickstarter. So, so that's
Can Patreon and Kickstarter occupy the same space?
I
Is it
don't
like
know.
matter, antimatter? Is
It's
it like
using Peter's money to pay Paul? So.
That's what we're doing.
So but yeah, the Patreon has been instrumental in helping us get the Kickstarter rewards out, and now they are done. So like I said, email us if you still haven't gotten anything, but give it another week or two. They just went out, the last batch, so it's very exciting.
And we shipped them all on pack mules, so I'm
Yes.
hoping that should be lickety split.
It was a little more expensive, but yeah.
It was real cheap. It was real cheap.
We wanted to send that last batch out in style.
Yeah. So look for the pack mule coming down your street, and hopefully there'll be a lovely box that Aaron put together. With his-
Lovingly. So let's introduce our guest.
Let's
First
introduce
time
our
guest.
first-time guest.
First time.
I've known you for a long time. I've known
Real
your
long time.
family, your brothers.
Yeah.
I started doing stand-up with your brother, Bob Gillespie.
Yep.
But ladies and gentlemen, Steve Gillespie.
Hi, everyone. Excited to be here.
So you
You have an album coming out.
You have an album.
Just came out. Just dropped on Friday. Released this past Friday, and it went #1 on iTunes. I was #1 on iTunes
awesome.
on Saturday and some of Sunday.
Cool.
It's dropped off since, but it's pretty cool that I got it all the way up there. It
Well,
was
maybe
exciting.
Comedy Film Nerds fans would get it back up to #1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really nice. It's called Live on State. It's done with Stand Up Records out of Minneapolis.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Where'd you record it?
Madison.
Oh, that
Comedy on
club.
State.
Comedy on State's a great club.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
That's a fan.
Great.
How many shows did you do to get the album? Did you record several? Or?
Yeah, I think I did about 5. And I think I used maybe 3 sets. I pieced together like 3 sets.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's cool. How long did it take you to make it?
Let's see, we recorded it right at the end of the year, and it came out
Yeah, 5 months.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's
not
not a
too
bad
bad.
turnaround.
Not too
That's
bad.
not a bad turnaround
Not too
at all,
bad.
man.
That's not like
Yeah,
a documentary film. That's a lot quicker.
How long did it take you guys?
3
5
years.
years.
5.
Yeah,
Chris is,
it felt like 5.
Chris just added 2 years to
It
it.
really felt like 5.
Well, if you think about it, we shot the Kickstarter promo at the 2013 Podfest. We shot some interviews that we used for the promo, and some of those interviews actually made it into the final film.
Right.
And the movie,
So we're, technically 4.
3. Really, we released it November of 16, so it was
Yeah.
3 years.
Okay.
It's 3 years.
Wow, you say it that way. It doesn't sound as long. It just.
Well, 3
years.
is 3 is less than 5. I mean,
How long did you
I
guys
had
think it was going to take? I mean, how long did you, when you
18
first
months.
made it?
We're 18 months. We literally
Really?
24 months at the top.
Yeah, we had a conversation. What could go wrong? Yeah.
It wasn't like, and there wasn't any. This is the thing with independent film. There wasn't like some
One thing.
There wasn't some catastrophe like the edit bay caught on fire or
Sure,
something
we
like
lost
that.
all this footage.
It's just a lengthy process,
A slow thing of like, all right, well, the editing's taking longer. There are some tech issues,
and it
those
costs more. I
things.
mean, it all.
Yeah.
You know, we raised 140 grand on Kickstarter, which was awesome, but that's not. It takes so much more to get a movie
Right.
done.
So we've been funneling the money from the company to finish the film for the last probably year and a half.
Yeah.
Which is why I've been doing magic tricks at the Universal City Walk to
Yes.
little
Getting
slide-
good with the
It's
rings.
Good. Wait, the rings is
Yeah.
good. I do the
Selling
rings.
tie-dyes on Venice Beach.
Yeah, it's been great. I have a parrot on my shoulder right now, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
Um,
Me heart teeth.
yeah, it's a pirate themed thing.
Yes.
Well, awesome. So, the name of the album again, Steve?
Alive on State.
Live on
Live on
Stage.
Stage.
Alive on State.
Well, let's
Alive on stage.
let's let the guests go first today for movie
Yes,
reviews.
you saw
Yeah.
King Arthur: Legend of the Sword.
Now, so we didn't have to. So first, thank you, thank you, and
Steve was such an eager new guest. He was like texting, like, "What should I see?" And I was like, "Well, let's unload this bag of shit on him."
because I saw that on the sheet. I'm like, I don't think Graham went to see that
There's no way I saw this.
unless for some weird reason Lindsay really wanted to see it. I don't think she really wanted to see it.
No.
So
And I actually, because I wanted to come into the film with just a clear mind, just like I didn't do any research about it.
Oh, that's good.
I was a fan of Guy Ritchie. I loved Rock and Roll. I love Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. I love Snatch. I loved the original animated series, the Sword in the Stone or the King Arthur animated
wow.
series
Okay.
way back when. I remember growing up and really liking that. So I was kind of excited about the film, to be honest, and not knowing, how it was being reviewed and how, that no one was going to see it. So when I got in, I was kind of excited. I was excited because I thought Guy Ritchie could bring,
His
that master
sensibilities.
dialogue that he has in those other films, like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch. The dialogue is just off the charts. It's so cool. And I was kind of like, oh wow, and bring that to this. That would be pretty neat.
And
None
it's
of that. There's none of that in the movie. It's all action.
So he brought his Sherlock dialogue
Yeah.
to the.
because
there
those
was
are
none
real
of that.
rapid fire dialogue too. It's really,
Yeah, well,
it's
the whole
nonstop.
movie's rapid fire. I mean,
Yeah.
King Arthur is like the same pace, dialogue-wise, as these other movies.
I misunderstood what you said. I
No,
just
that's-
went rapid fire as far as like storyline and how
Oh,
fast
okay.
they
Right.
moved everything through.
Yeah,
like,
Snatch did that, and Lock, Stock, and Two
yeah,
Smoking
there
Barrels
was none
did
of that. None of the
Yeah,
rapid
nothing-
fire cool dialogue.
Could you even tell it was a Guy Ritchie film?
Not really, to
Yeah.
be honest. Not
Mhm.
really. No. I mean, it was cool looking. Like I saw it in 3D, which I think is if you're gonna go do it, you might as well see it in 3D. Because
Right.
it is cool.
Did it have a
visually.
dragon in it?
No, there's the best part of the movie, I think, visually wise, is in the beginning battle scene when Camelot is being first attacked, and it's his dad, Arthur's dad, that's fighting him off or whatever, and they had these giant elephants, like that they're coming. The enemy army is coming with these. I mean, the
Right.
biggest elephants you've ever seen in your life, and they're
Lord of
not
the
real,
Rings
I don't
elephants.
think, but
Yeah, those kind. Those like,
Yeah.
I'll quote, Olifants. Those
Yeah.
those giant ones.
yeah, and they're like knocking over bridges,
Uh-huh.
running into the castle and knocking the walls down. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That was cool. But the movie just moves so fast. You don't get any character development. You don't really fall in love with any characters, and I was bored. I was
Well, it's the
bored
source
with it.
material. King Arthur. There's not much to go on. there's really
It's not an interesting
it's not an interesting
story.
story
It's not
or
like-
interesting characters or hasn't been around for very long. There's not a lot you can do with it. So.
Yeah. I was excited though. This is, it reminds me of how I got into stand up. Being on the slums of Minneapolis and
on
the streets,
an
raised
elephant?
by prostitutes.
Yeah.
Went to an open mic where you had to pull the microphone out of the stand, and
Yeah.
whoever could get the magical microphone out of the stand would have a career in comedy. And I was the only one that night to pull it out of there, and I've been slaying comedy crowds ever since.
Alive on State, guys, in iTunes right now. Steve Gillespie. Well, let me ask you this. So Charlie Hunnam was in it, which
Yep.
I very much liked him in Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, I was excited about him too.
And so how was
He's a
he?
beautiful, beautiful man.
He's a gorgeous
really
man.
Did he do a lot of mumbling in this movie?
Little bit
Yeah.
of that, yeah. But they
The
just
Hannah
never really
mumble.
gave him a chance to even be a character. I mean, it's more just him swinging a sword around and
Right.
beating the shit out of people. And I did read something cool about
After
him.
he gets out of the stone.
Yeah, well, Well, even before that, because he's like fighting the streets. He's just like an orphan that just like beats everybody up in the streets and steals money.
Okay.
And
So really makes
hangs
you
out with prostitutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So already really invested in the character.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah.
So Jack the Ripper.
Yes.
Yeah. But I did read something really cool kind of funny about him. So he was like really light going into the auditions for this film because he had lost a bunch of weight for his character in Sons of Anarchy. And Guy Ritchie was afraid that he was too small for the character and he wanted a big buff character. And he kept like kind of bringing that up in the different auditions that they did. And then I guess Charlie, how do you say it? Hunan or Hunan? I can never pronounce it right. Hunan. I guess he cornered Guy Ritchie and was like, listen, you keep saying I'm too small for this role. Why don't you bring in the two other guys that you're thinking about for this role and we'll fight and whoever wins gets the part. It's like, bring him in here. I'll beat the shit out of him. And then Guy Ritchie was like, all right, you got a part.
Yeah. You don't need to beat up the two guys who aren't going to get it.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Can you
though.
imagine if you were in a casting session, you got in a fight, you lost, and you got a black eye and didn't get the part?
Well, it was going to be Kit Harington as Arthur and Joel Kinnaman as Lancelot, but they seemed too unknown and probably would have got their asses whooped. By
Yeah, Kit Harington. Yeah, too unknown from Game of Thrones. Yeah. So at the time, I guess maybe they thought he was.
It's an interesting thing. So, Sons of Anarchy.
Sounds like this was in production and development for a while.
Yeah. So maybe they shot this a while ago. Maybe Charlie Hunnam was thinks that being in a fake TV biker gang makes him as tough as the character. As a real biker gang guy.
Maybe it does. You don't know. Yeah. Maybe he also thinks he can pilot robots and fight monsters.
I think he could.
Yeah, so the movie bombed.
Yeah,
that's
so weird.
A lot
yeah,
money,
when that trailer came out, I
$150
was just so surprised that no one went to see this movie.
Oh yeah, it had a $175 million budget. Its opening weekend though, it did $15 million.
Yeah,
that's good. That's solid.
Yeah,
that's a solid profit.
Guy Ritchie is, with Sherlock Holmes and Man from U.N.C.L.E., is getting further and further away from why we like Guy Ritchie.
Yeah,
and this didn't help.
No.
And his next project, Aladdin.
Really?
The live-action Aladdin.
The
live action.
Yeah.
What's
going on? Who is going? Disney's going. All right, we need a live-action version of Aladdin. Get me the director of Snatch.
Morning, Isaiah.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's really, if you look at it, it started with Sherlock Holmes in 2009. He did that, and Sherlock 2 in 2011, and Man from U.N.C.L.E. in 2015. And prior to that, it was really cool movies. It was
Rock and Roller was great.
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't see Revolver.
I didn't see that either, but Snatch was great.
I'll show you the list in just a second.
Well, I guess it's really bombed in China too, which is what they were really pushing in
Pause
China.
this thought that I
I've
got.
been reading a lot about
Finish this thought out.
Prepare myself for this. Like how the film industry is really pandering to China now because they are buying, they're buying
huge amounts of money and huge amounts of movie theaters in China.
Yeah. But it's weird. Why would you ever think King Arthur would work in China? I mean, it's a very Western story. I don't know.
Maybe they're thinking just the spectacle and the epic of like any type of summer movie will do well, overseas.
Yeah.
And it's not the case.
They're so trying to crack into that market because there's 4,000 or 5,000 screens in America, and there's something like 20,000. I don't know the exact number, but there's something insane because there's 1.5 billion people there.
Right.
Yeah.
And
they like going to movies.
Right, and they've had this in the last 10, 15 years. They've had a middle class that was basically created out of their economy, so they have the money to go to the movies, but everyone's desperately trying to get in there,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure they shot some of this in China. I'm sure there were some Chinese actors.
There
in
was.
it.
There was a guy named George. His character's name was George, and he was the one Chinese guy in the
Right.
film, and he was like the kung fu, the guy that like taught King Arthur how to fight. That was the Chinese guy. Yeah.
He taught him kung fu.
they've been like
He taught King Arthur kung fu.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
It's weird that no one went to see this
How
movie.
did it not do well?
Yeah.
They're just rewriting history, and it's
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
wow,
And then
yeah.
to get a movie into China, I've been reading, you have to get it approved by the government, like their censorship board. So there's like this whole thing where the United States film industry is really pandering to China, but also like
Right.
censoring itself and changing storylines to fit, you know, what the Chinese would like and want to hear about themselves, which is really interesting when you think about.
Now, did this movie, did it follow any of the original story? Like, was there a Merlin? Was there anything else from the actual King Arthur?
What's a
legend?
Merlin again?
Yeah, the wizard.
the wizard.
No, it was a woman. It was a witch. She had like a mage.
Morgan Le Fay?
No, it was Astrid Burgess Frisbee. Her name was.
Yeah.
So, I think the answer is no. Nothing else was taken except the title from
And they
King
had a lot
Arthur,
of
The
like
Legend of the Sword.
kind of trippy. Like she makes him to get him ready for his big battle at the end. She makes him hallucinate basically and like take a trip where he's gonna see things he doesn't want to see, but he needs to see them. That's what she tells him, and she has like a snake bite him, so he poisons him so that he has like hallucinates and. That's the one part of the movie I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Tom Wu
Snake bite trip.
played George,
Yeah.
and he was in the movie Marco Polo, and he was in Kick-Ass 2. Marco Polo was another sort of let's try to sell something in China movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this
All right.
this trend.
Somebody's taking a write down.
It's we've talked about this with Rick Myers before, and this trying to crack into the Chinese market. Any big blockbuster.
Yeah.
Will suddenly have an element of
Well, Iron Man had extra footage.
Yeah.
Like one of the Iron Man movies. They actually shot extra footage just for the Chinese
Just
release.
for China, yeah, I've heard of that. They'll have like a whole other storyline just for China.
yeah they'll recut.
All right,
They'll have completely different trailers. They'll have
Z.
and part of the laws of the Chinese government, it
What?
has to be shot a certain amount in China, so they're forcing American
was
companies
20
to do
minutes
some
ago?
filming there to infuse money into the economy.
And
so
it's also, I think there's rules about how much
Oh, holy crap.
cast needs to be Chinese, things like that.
Yeah.
It's-
And
it's
Isaiah
like,
was
you know, it's
832.
similar to like Canadian productions. Like, well, you want to
See,
shoot
it's
in
like
China and get the
my-
tax breaks. You need to hire
I
a
have
certain
two
amount.
screens
Yeah.
turned on so I can see
but it's
who's
even more so if you
what
want
the
to get
chats are from, and
distribution. Like
the one
economy's
screen on the
Chinese
computer,
government picks-
which is closer
So
to
they
my
control it.
face.
they control everything.
Yeah. So now this next movie also is trying to break into China. Slight, you saw. Graham, tell us about this movie.
Narth
Well,
Dog
this-
Gaming, are you
so-
still there?
I was curious to see this film because it looked interesting. It has an interesting premise. I'll read the IMDb description to sort of tell you how it. What I saw in the trailer looks interesting. So it's sort of similar to the movie Dope, in terms
Okay.
of there's a kid with
Hey, errands.
you know, he's in trouble with some like gangster drug dealer types, and how does he get out of it? You know, how does he get out of this jam? And my dumb website isn't loading.
Magic tricks, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
so
he
he-
becomes like a
right.
street magician.
He does street magician, so here's the thing: a young street magician is left to care for his little sister after their parents' passing, and turns to illegal activities to keep a roof over their heads. Then he gets in too deep, and how does he get out of it? So and the trailer, I was like, oh, this is cool. And the trailer kind of, you know, is he just a really good magician? Does he have powers? Like, we don't know. The movie is really just, we were talking about it before the show, it's like Dope Light. It's just, Dope is a really good movie, I think, and I highly recommend people seeing that.
That is a
And
great movie.
this just missed it on
Missed
a
the
lot
mark
of
a little
levels.
bit.
Just the writing and the acting wasn't as solid, and some didn't feel as believable in certain parts of it, and it just kind of, you know, the lead guy did a decent job. The director, this guy JD Dillard, so he's directed you know, some TV shows, you know, some short films. So this is his first ever feature film. And
Did it feel like a first-time feature?
It did feel like a first-time feature. And there were some okay moments to it. There was, he did... the thing that was crazy was this. Is the rights...
It's his second feature film.
Well, he did... Yeah, I guess he did Judy Goose,
Judy Goose.
in 2006, so everything else...
But what I find interesting is that the rights to the film were purchased by WWE.
Well, that was the craziest thing. I'm watching the opening credits, and I see the WWE, and then I see Blumhouse Films, which does a lot of...
Low-budget horror.
Low-budget horror, and I was like, what's this going to be? And I thought this was going to be this sort of...
John Cena's going to be in here somewhere.
Right, there's got to be a wrestler in here. But I it just kept missing the mark, and the pacing was really slow, and there was some cool stuff at the end, but you sort of, without giving it away, a bunch of stuff is introduced, and you're like, okay, let's get into it. Let's do it. And then it takes a really long time to get there, and you're like, and so I don't know, the Dule Hill plays the sort of drug kingpin. So he was from the West Wing. And he plays a really interesting version of a gang guy. He's super smart. He's super articulate. He's very calm businessman. But make no mistake, he's an evil dude. And so that was kind of cool to see him, because he always usually plays the kind of aw shucks type of guy, So to see him play this, I thought was cool. It had a $250,000 budget, so in that respect, hats off to the first, the second time director or whatever, and with having this taking
that
this
is not a big budget.
No, that's
not
really small.
Really small budget to do a scripted feature. So considering what he did with that little amount of money, there are some cool things to it. It's not a breakout film like Dope was.
Right.
So you kind of watch it and you go, all right, let's see what
he does next.
And where will this young cast, the lead on it, Jacob Lattimore, where's he gonna go?
Yeah, how was he?
He was decent. So the lead, he does a good job of this kid.
Yeah, that's where the Drumlin Diner is.
He's a highly intelligent. So they introduced the movie.
Assuming that's the same one he's talking about.
He's like a science honor student, up for a scholarship. Mother passes away, and here we are. He has to do street magic to survive, to take care of his sister. So that's introduced very quickly, and he does a good job of
gotta be careful now.
Trying to do the best thing. He's a smart, sharp kid. He's in this jam, and sort of the rationalizations of these mistakes that he's making and how to get himself out of it. And so I think he could. He has the potential to do more. The girlfriend was okay, but there was just a lot of wanting more for me that didn't happen. So we'll see.
Okay, all right. So check it out. Maybe on demand or on DVD or on
like
an airplane. Something
see
it
on an airplane. See it on one of your streaming services. So you saw The Red Turtle.
I did. I saw The Red Turtle, and this was a movie I've been wanting to see ever since I saw it got nominated for an Academy Award. And it's a really interesting movie. It's one of those movies that I remember when I was in college, whenever animation would come to town, like in Philadelphia, it would always only go to the art houses. And this is the type of movie, this is an art house movie, where the feel of the movie just feels like you would just go to one of those art houses where it's a tiny little theater that's run down.
Yeah.
It's always dark, so you can't see what's on the floor or on the chairs because
you don't want to
everything
see
is
what's on there.
in a horribly
vaguely smells like weed.
Yeah. And you would watch the animation movies that would come through, the weird experimental stuff, and that's what really this gave me that feel at home, like I was in an art house there watching an animated film. It's very French.
Oh, that's cool.
It was a co-production with Studio Ghibli in Japan, but it doesn't feel like a Studio Ghibli film. It really feels like a French film for sure.
It's the first time ever that Studio Ghibli did a non-Japanese.
They sure did. Yeah, this is one of their. It might be their only co-production.
Yeah.
So it really had an interesting feel to it. There's no dialogue in the entire film, so it's very slow moving. It's beautiful to look at, and not a lot happens. But everything that happens means something. It's animation is allegory throughout the entire thing. Like when people say, "Oh, animated movies are just that's just for kids." This is the kind of movie that is not. And in fact, my kids were completely bored by it. They
Is
were
it like
they were
Triplets
locked
of
in.
Belleville kind of feel?
So it did feel a little bit like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But much slower.
Okay.
And because you have basically, it's a castaway on an island. He's alone.
Mm.
He tries to build a raft. Every time he builds a raft, a turtle breaks it, and then he has to go back to the island. So, and that's kind of the setup of the movie. But everything means something else. It really means about man's connection to nature. Like, it's interesting, even though it feels French, there are some like Japanese themes in there, like the way everything has a spirit and how we're connected to the animals and the earth and the plants and the trees and everything. These are some mild spoilers, but you can see these from the trailer too. Then the turtle is magical, turns into a woman. Then they kind of spend their
in the
time
booths. They sleep in the booths.
Island together. They have a kid.
Obviously, the
what
boy
it really
sleeps on the
goes
floor.
through is the themes of living with nature, living as a family, getting what you need out of your life, and then also moving on certain parts of your life. So all of these themes happen with no dialogue, with a movie about a castaway and a red turtle. So the fact that these things were accomplished thematically with what you're watching was definitely really interesting and fun to watch. The backgrounds were more detailed than the actual characters, which also gave it a real, almost like ethereal look. Like the backgrounds had all this detail, like the forest and the waves and the trees, like, because the characters actually were still expressive but not as detailed. So it was like there were interesting artistic choices made on the designs, which were really interesting.
That was the aspect of it that made it look like a Studio Ghibli film for me. Just from watching the trailer, I was like, oh, that looks the way the Studio Ghibli, just the layers and the details and the depth of the frame and everything makes you. That's what makes them stand out so much differently than just about any other animation that's out there.
And I'm wondering too, there were 6 animators from Studio Ghibli who worked in the film. I wonder if they all worked in background. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. And it's the kind of movie too. Do I think it should have won Best Picture for animation? No, I still think Kubo should have won. But it would deserve to be nominated, and it deserves to be seen. Like I said, it was playing in L.A. in one theater. Like, it was really difficult to find.
Is it better than Zootopia? Which one?
So they're very different. They're very different movies. Whereas Zootopia is a family film, everyone can kind of enjoy it. This one is just a slow-paced animated poem for an allegory about life and nature. So
how long is
it? It's less than 90 minutes. I think it's like Aaron, can you look that up? I think it's like 80 some minutes.
It's something I would think I would be really interested in seeing. It seems like sounds like it's really trippy.
It's very trippy, and it's one of those movies too.
Actually,
that
80 minutes.
80 minutes, and it's one of those movies too that you just kind of you're supposed to kind of drift in and out of it because it's like this fable and fairy tale, and like just the way. The backgrounds and the characters just kind of come together and just kind of flow. So it's definitely worth a watch.
I'm sure he doesn't move the entire game, and you can try to give them give him a dick doll,
than the other a
dick doll, whatever,
for whatever reason.
No, won't work.
But it's definitely worth your time. So check it out, The Red Turtle.
All right. So I saw this doc, Chasing the Lotus. Now, this doc was given to me by Frank Pulaski when I was in...
Our YouTube editor?
Our YouTube editor, who's been... So, all guys, we've been starting to videotape the show every week now, and Frank is editing them and putting the credits and all that stuff.
So he's typing in your Patreon name.
Your Patreon name. So that's one of the things. At certain Patreon levels, you get your names in the credits. Right. So thank Frank for doing that. And one of the fine things you get for being a Patreon backer. So when I was in Maui last year, he gave me this doc, and I just literally, like, we were cleaning the house, and I was like, wait a minute, Chasing the Lotus? And Lindsay's like, yeah, Frank gave that to you. I was like, oh shit, I haven't seen that yet. So I finally got around to watching it.
Lindsay had to remind you who gave you the gift?
Yeah, it was in the stack. I'm sorry. I was trying to figure out...
Who could possibly have given me the surf documentary?
Well, there's a lot of people who could have given me a surf documentary, quite honestly. But mahalo, Frank, for chasing the Lotus.
It's funny that you said you were cleaning your house. It's like it was like underneath something. Like you got the gift and you just like tossed it somewhere. It's like deep in your closet and you're like cleaning it out. You're like, what the fuck is this?
No, you two dicks. We have a bunch of DVDs in our house, like hundreds of them.
Yes.
So it was in that pile of DVDs. It was next to a bunch of very excellent movies, like Rising Sun, the
Sean Connery movie?
No, not Rising Sun. The oh god, no, I'm fucking this one up too.
Empire of the Sun?
No, it was the movie between it was Takashi Mifune and shit, this is the dumbest thing in the world. Oh god.
The Last Samurai. I'm just gonna name samurai movies. Yeah.
It's the one where he's in the West. He's a samurai in the West. I've talked about it on the show before. Gary Brightwell recommended
Blazing
it.
Saddles.
Yeah, that's it, Chris. So now we're just going to be assholes. Yeah, Maud. Working 9 to 5, right? Where Mrs. Doubtfire. Mrs. Doubtfire? Hello, is that a katana? Yeah, so
I'd like to see Mrs. Doubtfire as a samurai
Shanghai Noon.
warrior. Be into that.
Mrs. Doubtfire is a samurai. Victory comes with the sword in the scabbard. So I found the DVD of Chasing the Lotus from our good friend Frank Pulaski. And it is a cool doc about these two guys that were the sort of pioneers of surf photography and surf shooting surf films back in the late 60s, early 70s.
Right.
And so it's really cool. And they kind of go through the history of surf movies. And
Jeff Bridges narrates it.
Jeff Bridges narrates it, and
he's got such a great voice.
He's the perfect voice for this, and he agreed to do the narration only after having seen the old footage. So, and there's cool old footage, old guys surfing, and there's footage of like Endless Summer and stuff like that. You know, the budget was $300,000, which that's sort of like, oh, okay, for the doc. So when you compare that back to Slight, it's like,
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yeah, like $250,000 for a full feature film.
Scripted
Narrative,
feature
yeah.
is
That's an accomplishment.
Very much so. Yeah, it's a cool doc, and it kind of goes into the history of stuff, and I think you need to be a surfer for this doc. Personally,
Right.
I'll be real honest with you.
Kind of like a fan film for surfers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm interested in surf documentaries and the
That's
people
funny.
who shot them in the early days of that.
Sorry,
It's
I just
interesting,
looked
but it's
over to
not
read.
like necessarily like Riding Giants is a
Brings non-surfers into the world.
That's just a
Right.
great documentary, and you don't have to be a surfer. This one, I think.
Now that's interesting because the budget is so low. It doesn't matter. It's one of those movies where you could just preach to the choir on this.
Sure.
There's enough people to support a movie like that because the budget's low. Like, you know, if this was a $4 million documentary, then no, it wouldn't make as much sense. But this is where the economics comes in of filmmaking, where it's perfectly fine.
It also, there's some cool history about the island of Maui, where, so Oahu in the late, in the 60s, it kind of blew up as the North Shore and the surfing mecca, and it became a big, Waikiki, a big tourist destination, all this stuff. So then a lot of these, like George Lopez and some of these sort of soul surfers came over to Maui, and you hear George Lopez talking, he was just like, yeah, man, there's guys doing acid and riding waves. And so Maui kind of became, and still has, these sort of hippie communities, but definitely in the 60s and 70s, it became sort of the hippie counter surf culture. And they were like, one time Hendrix was just out there, and he just did an impromptu
Didn't know that
show.
was a thing.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
So there was and they were also sort of talking about, the 70s in a lot of ways. Not, we've talked about this on this show, but how the film industry was sort of more artistic, and then how the corporation sort of took over in the 80s. The same thing happened in the surf video industry, and it was about the style of the surfer, and then the shortboards came in the 80s, and guys are wearing neon, and then it was like, the surf companies were paying for these videos that were just basically promotional.
Yeah.
They're just commercials. And so it was kind of going into the era right before that. I talked about that a little, but it's an interesting little film.
Money ruins everything.
Yes, it does.
Is the Lotus, is that a surfing term? I mean, is that something that
It's a photographer term. and yeah, that's revealed at the very end. It's a photographer term. So they talk about these photographers were more about the spirituality, like it was, and the connection with the earth. What you were saying with Red Turtle, the connection with the earth, and it was a unique time in the world, obviously, but definitely in surf culture. And these are these two guys that captured it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, we've got a new segment now. We have our first Patreon ad backer.
Yeah, so this is the $50 level, guys. We'll read your name or business name, and we're doing Mike Valdez.
Yes.
And he has whoismikevaldez.com.
Yes, and his comedy's there, his album is there. You can listen to the album. I listened to it. I liked it.
He's a comic?
Yeah, and he's a musician too.
So you listened to his music album?
I listened to his music album.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was good. I was listening to it while I was working on my graphic novel, so it was great for the background. It was really good. You can hear the whole thing on the website.
Awesome. Whoismikevaldez.com. His Twitter is I am Mike Valdez. So that's what you guys get at the $50 level. We'll read your business, and we'll read it every episode.
Every episode, you're going to get an ad mention.
So you're getting, whatever, 3 or 4 or 5 ad reads a month, however many episodes we do a month.
Yep.
And so right on.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks for that. Then go to the Patreon page.
Yes, do that too. So, all right, let's talk about trailers. This is the final trailer of War for the Planet of the Apes. Now, I got to say, I love this trailer.
Yeah,
and one of the
good.
reasons I loved it so much is because from movie to movie with these Planet of the Apes movies, the technology of the apes has gotten better in every single one. And it was great to begin with.
Yeah.
But the motion capture and the way even just the facial expressions and the mouth movements, everything is improved to the point where you're like, well, this looks real. I really think
seamless.
that there's a bunch of soldiers being led by Woody.
Woody Harrelson is the...
Woody Harrelson. And they're going to fight a bunch of apes on horseback. Like, yeah, I've completely suspended disbelief.
Yeah,
I am
yeah.
in and I am on board.
The only thing that I have a hard time with, because it's a futuristic type of thing, right? Or at least it's in this time period. How hard would it be for us to fight off some apes that don't have modern weapons? That's the only thing I get a little like, can't we just bomb? I mean, they're just in the forest. We can't just bomb. I mean, we have planes and helicopters and...
You know what I love, too? I think
they're on
that's
horseback.
I think
and
that's all going to be...
spears. It's like...
I think that's going to be addressed in the movie, because we saw the helicopters, the attack helicopters in the trailers. So I'll bet you there's going to be a reason.
Well, yeah, because the difference from the first one to the second one, I've talked about. I love these movies. So
Yeah, I like the first one a lot.
I think they they addressed that a little bit going into the second one of how this virus just wiped out a lot of humans. So that's what happened.
Oh, that's right.
So it's not
That's
like
right.
the
There's
apes.
a lot less humans.
So they wiped.
Okay.
So there's very few of them. So
Oh,
it doesn't
okay.
matter how many aircraft carriers you got,
Yeah,
Steve. If
okay.
everybody's dead, who's driving the boat?
Yeah, you got to even it out.
You got to even it out.
Although every one of these movies, it seems like there's a lot more apes too.
Well, yeah, because they're growing.
Yeah.
Aaron, you had something to say.
Oh, this is the movie I'm the most looking forward to this summer.
Really?
Anything that's been out, because the last one was so good.
Yeah.
I love Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I watched it twice.
And the thing about them that's also awesome is, like the original Planet of the Apes, maybe the second one, but the original Charlton Heston one that was like Rod Serling was one of the writers. It's really deep social commentary about the human race and how it's our fault and how we treat animals and how we treat the planet, and this is our own creation and we're to blame, and these themes are so strong and so heavy. They're in the trailers.
Yeah.
And then the battle, like in the last one, Dawn, of the within the apes, the battle of, do we just go, we've been pushed around enough, let's just go on the offensive, versus Caesar's always trying to be like, no, let's...
We're only fighting to survive.
We're only fighting to survive, and that's said again in this trailer. So that's the thing I love about these movies. The effects are great, so you're never taken out of the movie by shoddy effects.
Yeah, by Roddy McDowall in an ape mask.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, I hope these movies keep going. Like they get to the timeline of Planet of the Apes, and then we go past them, like they do pull a Star Wars. These are the prequels.
So then where they do, they wipe out all the humans, and then there's their civilization and what happens to them. That
Right.
kind of idea.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like
that'd be
what
cool.
we see, like what happens after all these other Planet of the Apes movies that were made in the
Well,
70s.
And then they evolve into humans again.
Yeah. that's the spoiler alert. Yeah.
Because this is only maybe 10, 15 years in the future versus the original Planet of the Apes was like 1,000 years in the future. So,
And a time traveling spaceman.
right. So this is I guess, like, these apes look cooler than the ones from the 70s that, like you said, had Roddy McDowell in a mask, always twitching his nose because the makeup itched.
Right.
That's why they were always doing that. So I don't know how you would do that from a technology standpoint, but it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, the Tim Burton one was horrible.
Yes.
But that Rick Baker makeup was amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, if they could have done that with these.
When did Tim Burton? Tim Burton did one of these?
Tim Burton did a
2000.
remake, yeah. Yeah, it's
remember
best
that.
we don't mention it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the same guy who did the first Batman movie and everything else.
So, now the next trailer we
Just gonna
watched
pass
was...
on
Down on it.
The room got real quiet.
Yeah. Speaking of superheroes, the Wonder Woman trailer. This is the I like how now they're numbering trailers now, and it's like trailer 2, trailer 3. Now they're just calling them final trailer. This is it. This is the last one that's coming out before the movie. And I gotta say, I'm still on the fence about Wonder Woman. I want it to be good. I want it to be good. The trailer's got some really interesting, fun things in it. It's set in World War One, and then they have horrible lines like they call her Dr. Poison, and I'm really, that's the best we could do. So I don't know. I'm really I'm on the fence. I'm hoping it's good, but I'm not sure.
I actually saw a different trailer when I was in the theater to see King Arthur for Wonder Woman, and I liked that trailer more than I liked the one that we just watched.
That was probably trailer number 2.
Yeah, because they showed a lot more of her, like, kind of coming up on whatever, I guess it's a different planet that she's on, where it's all women.
An island.
It's like, or island, yeah.
Yeah,
Where it's
Themyscira.
all women that are, just
Yes,
like these
Amazons.
Yeah, Amazon, just like warrior women. And I'm like, that's cool. I want to see that. I want to see more of that. I would like to see a whole movie on just an island of warrior women that are like just fighting off whatever they're fighting off. And then it kind of then the trailer moved into her, going into
World War One,
and like they're trying to make her
and apparently
put her in
fighting
a
it,
dress
yeah,
and have
on
her
her
ride,
own.
and I just didn't care anymore.
This is the thing. Like, the Wonder Woman story of the Island of Warrior Women is an awesome story.
Yeah.
And the thing, my biggest fear with this, well, one is the obvious one of DC can't seem to make a good superhero movie. And the casting of Gal Gadot. I like her as an actress. I think she's interesting and stuff. But I think, we talked about this with Jackie, I think Wonder Woman needs to, like, have the physique of Ronda Rousey, like a tall version, or like
Yeah.
she needs to look. Gal Gadot looks like a model. She is.
Yeah.
So
Or like Lucy Lawless as Xena.
right,
Lucy Lawless is a good
exactly.
example, yeah.
And Lucy Lawless, like find a 28-year-old Lucy Lawless, and that would be amazing. And then you find out, like I read today, one of the Wonder Woman promos is like think thin bars. Those are like.
Think thin, but what does that mean?
It's like
it's the product tie-in.
It's like a weight loss for like women
I saw
or
one
something.
I saw one for Orville Redenbacher popcorn, something in just all right. Whatever deal you're getting, you're going to say yes to apparently, because you want to make up this money as any way you can.
And I think it's like if they had a Lucy Lawless character, and they focused more on like it was an origin story.
Yeah.
Versus
that's what I would be interested
That's
in.
what I'd be so into. And
And
then
there's an animated version of that too. The DC animated
Right.
movies. There's a Wonder Woman origin story, and it's fantastic.
of course,
It's
the DC
really
makes
good.
great animation, but what I'm afraid is going to happen.
This is an origin
it's
story.
gonna do well, and then DC's going to go, oh, see, we can't have a female superhero. They don't do well. They'll make that dumb analogy, and it's like, no, there's so many great female superhero stories out there.
Yeah, it's about the story.
It's
always about the story.
Yep.
It's never really about the character. I mean, if you could have cool characters, but you got to have a good story.
Yep.
And then,
or nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like King Arthur.
Yeah. If only that had a good story to pull from.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is what drives me nuts, and it should be done. An amazing female superhero movie should be done, and it should be done correctly. I don't think DC's going to do it. I think Marvel's going to have to do it.
And continue to do it.
And continue to do it. So
have they done a Catwoman
Oh,
Yes, Halle Berry.
Halle Berry,
One of
that's
the worst
right.
movies ever made.
It was good or not?
It's horrible.
No,
Really
no,
bad,
it was
huh?
Very, very unwatchable.
Again, the character Catwoman is so interesting.
Yeah.
The one that came out of the Batman Year One storyline, the where they created her as she was a prostitute. She grew up on the streets. It was like really tough
And gritty.
and gritty, and
Yeah.
and the dynamic between her and Batman of he always has this I think there's good in her thing. There's a romantic thing. There's so many cool things they could have done.
Yeah.
The closest they've come is Anne Hathaway in The Dark Knight Rises, but
And that's still pretty far.
that's still pretty far. That's still
Yeah.
pretty far.
So, all right. So let's talk about DVDs and Blu-rays that are coming out. Triple X: The Return of Xander Cage. That should have been Triple X : we just can't call it Fast and Furious, you know, because if you look at the trailer, it looks like it's just the exact same movie except there's
Well,
some
yeah, it was
skateboards.
especially since Fast and Furious has gone from street racing to like covert op missions and spy.
Right.
Has it really?
Oh yeah,
for sure.
I
yeah.
haven't paid any attention to it.
But
they got chased by
yes.
a submarine in the Arctic on the last one.
yeah, it was fantastic.
It's great stuff.
Yeah. So, and the next movie is Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. Like I remember watching this movie, thinking, well, this is, you know, I'm hoping this isn't a documentary, is where we're headed as a species. But you know, the final chapter, it's always a dubious term. You want, well, if it made enough money, there might be another one. You know, this is the kind of movie where I don't even remember how many movies there have been. They're guilty pleasures with me. I like going to see them. Neil and I go with like 4 other people in the theater. But these always make their money back overseas, especially in Japan where they make the games. And I just started playing the most recent Resident Evil game right now, and it's absolutely terrifying. And it's way better than the movie, this movie. So if you want to get a Resident Evil fix, just get the game right now, and you can skip this movie. But if it's a guilty pleasure, let me put it this way. This movie doesn't do anything different than any of the other movies did. It's pretty much just what you would expect if you've seen the other films.
So it's almost like they're just like
I
making
disagree.
the
I
games
liked
just
it.
for the game.
It's
liked it
pretty
a lot.
much it's for the
It's just to
gamers.
drive the game.
Every once in a while, one breaks out a little bit. There was one, I can't remember if it was like the third one or something, where it was really stylized and kind of cool and like really like it was, and like in 3D, it was like almost something to prove. Like, yeah, we're gonna make this kind of a really cool movie. And then the one after that, I think it was 4. The entire thing happened in like a holodeck, like the whole movie. It was like, what? Did the director even show up for this movie? Like, they've been really varying levels of quality, although you can't really necessarily use the word good for any of them. But they are guilty pleasures. They are fun if you can suspend any type of criticism for them. So if you're a fan, check it out. But like I said, if you're a fan, play the game first before you see this movie. All right. And the next one is The Space Between Us. This one we almost saw with a fan. On the graphic novel, one of the rewards was see a movie with us, and this was one of the choices, but we went. I think it ended up being Passengers instead.
Right.
So
you guys went to a movie just with a random fan?
So who gave it a Kickstarter? Yeah, $1,000 on the Kickstarter.
Oh, that's
too.
cool.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Was it awkward? I mean, I
So-
suppose you don't want to say it on.
No,
Oh,
not
it was
at
great.
all.
They're film nerds.
Because they're
Yeah,
they're super
yeah.
fans. So it's like we feel like we already know them because we're already
Did they
into all
just
the
sit?
things.
You guys do 3 seats, and they sat right in between you. And
That's it.
No,
yeah.
I sit on
Arms
my
are
lap.
out.
Yeah.
Put them on your lap.
They're very crowded movies
Yeah.
that we go to. Yep. Then we have dinner and record a podcast with them.
Yeah.
I actually went to a movie with Graham once, and he went to go to the bathroom or get some food or something, and he came back. I think we were the only ones in the movie theater. I don't remember where we were or what we were watching, but you came back and he had a shirt. He just took a shirt off, and then when he sat next to me, I looked over and his shirt was just off.
I can see that happening.
Oh, going on the road. Time's on the road. You got to kill time.
Like, Graham, are you okay?
It was like
All right,
it was
I
like
always
a,
do this in the movie.
it was probably like a Thursday afternoon
Yeah,
or
it was a
something.
matinee, for sure,
Matinee.
yeah.
We're just comics bored out of our skulls. Nothing to do. Go to a mall. We watch some movie. Like I don't know. I don't even know what was the movie.
I don't remember at all.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just came back with no shirt on. And I think I didn't even I tried to do the thing where I didn't even I'd look at him and didn't even act like it was a big deal. Like why? Just to see how long you'd have to sit there.
Or
before-
did you maybe
Slowly
trade your
put it
shirt
on.
for a thing of popcorn when you left, or is that or was it just?
I might have fought a guy for some
Yeah,
Twizzlers or something. I don't know. Things got weird in the lobby.
Yeah.
We were where were we?
You
Like
offered to fight a
Bloomington,
guy.
I
Bloomington,
think, maybe.
Indiana?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, shout out to the Comedy Attic.
Yeah, there we go.
Offered to fight a guy for a role in a King Arthur movie.
Yeah.
That's actually how I got on Conan.
Yeah.
They were like considering other comics, and I'm like, just bring those.
Bring
son of
them,
a
line
bitches
them
in
up,
here.
line them up.
Line 'em up.
I'll take care of
See
him.
what happens.
Bring one of these snarky assholes. I'll fucking drop them. God, that'd be awesome if I could get on Conan that way. Line them up. Who do you got?
Actually, it's about being funny, Steve. It's not about fighting. I don't care. I don't give a
Yeah.
shit. Bring them in here.
See, wait till you see how I fight.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
So the space between us.
Take your shirts off in the
take your
theaters,
shirts
guys.
off
I
and
think
go
that's
see
the
it
takeaway.
on a plane.
Yeah, for sure.
So another site spotlight. The weekly, like I said, the weekly film news is back, and we'll be doing a new podcast of the monthly, weekly film news live next week for the Patreon.
Next
backers.
week, Patreon backers, you get that
extra content.
A little extra content. That's what you
little
get the bonus. I'll read a couple of the posts from the Patreon. The Patreon only posts. If you're $2 and up, you get this. There's a post that put out only Star Wars fans see it. And Christy Davis, is it an X-Wing, right? Christy Davis, another Death Star? Eye roll. Mike Valdez, the Harry Potter stuff is getting annoying. That's hilarious. And then we put the favorite Guardians of the Galaxy 2 characters. And Groot took the win.
All right, Baby Groot.
Baby Groot took the win.
Adorable.
And, you know.
So the other thing you can check out on the website is CJ's review of Alien Covenant. He's already seen it.
Oh.
So
Did he
you
like
can check out
it?
his review. I'm not going to say, so people can go to the site and actually see. But
Aaron was
yeah,
gonna
okay, yeah, he did like it.
Teaser.
All right.
Aaron, you had something to say.
Oh, he was pleasantly surprised by it.
I'm
Yeah.
concerned about that movie, but that gives me hope that CJ
Yeah,
likes it.
CJ is critical.
He's
so
very.
if he liked it,
If he liked it,
like it makes me even more anxious to see this movie, or more excited to see this movie, I should say, because I'm looking forward to it.
I watched them. They played.
It looks like a return to form.
Well, I saw the trailer again last night ahead of the slate. And
Which trailer? There's like 4 of them now.
It's the. I guess it's the. I don't know which one. It's the longer one that all talks. It's really showing them on the planet. It's not that one where they're all
Gotcha.
on the ship talking about.
Okay.
They do that like briefly, like, oh, we're giving up a lot, and then it's really kind of what's going on this planet, and it. I worry if they gave away too much in the trailer for me. Like I already kind of have an idea what's going to happen, or not. But I don't know. Some people are asking, is everybody burnt out on all these franchises and prequels and all this stuff? But
Well, the thing that gives me hope is I really think some lessons were learned from Prometheus, and I think Ridley Scott, he's not a young man anymore, but this is for his franchise that he pretty much created. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I really want to see it. I think it'll be good.
coming out this weekend.
Yep.
So read CJ's review.
Yep, read CJ's review on the site. And then Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Long Haul. These are also hugely popular kids' books. You can, if you have a middle schooler or a tween, chances are you might be seeing this movie this
Is this
weekend.
the second one?
Great question. I don't know how many movies there have been.
There's at least one other one. I know
Yeah,
that.
there's at least
Three,
one
I
other one.
think.
Might even be
It's
the
third,
third one.
yeah.
This is the third one?
It might. I don't know. It's second or third. So, Aaron, see if you can. How many movies? There's like a ton of books. So while Aaron's checking our database, the next movie is Everything, Everything. This is a movie that's actually been based on another very popular young adult novel about basically, like the Boy in the Bubble story.
Right. There's a girl who's allergic to everything.
Allergic to everything, and then about the romance, or her first love that she has with this boy who takes a chance, and they try to get together, but the mother's standing in the way. You're going to get sick. You're going to get sick. You can't do this.
It looks interesting. I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, I'd love to. I haven't read the book, so anyone that's read the book, I'd love to hear what they have to say about it.
My daughter loved it.
Really?
She thought the book was fantastic, and she's 12, so she's right in that range. So I have a feeling I'll be going to see the movie this weekend.
Date somebody that's allergic to everything.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's like a lot.
It's the fourth Diary. of a
See,
Wimpy Kid.
Wow.
Fourth Diary of a Wimpy
Yeah.
Kid movie.
Wow.
How about that? The Long Haul. That's what the parents will be doing. If
So the next one's going to be the Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the final countdown.
Yeah.
The final Wimpy
something.
Kid.
Yeah. And the next movie, Wakefield, is an independent movie that looks kind of interesting. It's got Breaking Bad, the star of Breaking Bad.
Bryan
Cranston
Cranston
in it, yeah.
It's directed and written by Robin Swikert. So Robin Swikert is a very prolific writer, a screenplay writer. She's only directed a short, The Red Coat, and the Jane Austen Book Club was the only other feature that she's written. But as a writer, you know, she's done The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Memoirs of a Geisha, you know, like a lot of Little Women. She's written a lot of stuff. I actually met her briefly 10 years ago during the writer's strike. I was walking the picket line in solidarity. I'm not in the WGA, but I was walking.
I thought you were going to say I was crossing the picket line.
Crossing the picket line. Ah, suck it.
I'm taking your job, Robin.
Yeah, scab labor. So I met her and we talked briefly, and so she's a cool person. She's written a lot of stuff. So I think this is her second. This is her. I think her trying to really break out more as a director is my guess.
Well, it really feels like it's a very kind of it's a small movie for sure. I mean, the premise is that, you know, suburban life. He gets just tired of it, so he literally hides in the attic and sees how life around him progresses in his absence. So that's the premise of the film.
I have mixed feelings from watching the trailer. Part of me was like, I love Bryan Cranston. It's really interesting to see him.
It feels like it's a short film premise that gets stretched out for a feature.
That's what I
really
wonder.
felt
And I have. This isn't a spoiler. This is just a guess. I have no idea. I've only seen the trailer like anyone else. My fear is that he watches all this stuff change, and in the trailer you see like
it's
she
all in
moves
there.
on, she starts to meet someone else, like all this stuff. He's got a beard.
He's got a beard. So he just sits in the attic the whole time as these things go around.
He's got like binoculars.
And she knows he's up there.
No, she has no
doesn't.
idea. He thinks his family thinks he's gone missing.
Okay.
So they're freaking out. They don't know what to do. She's scared. The kids are, and he just sits there and watches this all happen.
Ah, that is interesting.
And then, so that could be interesting. But then my fear is like,
is it going to be 90 minutes of this?
90 minutes of this, and then, I don't know. Like, it could be really interesting, but I'm also afraid. Is it just more like, oh, boo-hoo, life's so hard in the nice suburbs. Oh, your life's so nice. You're the rich white people.
It's also hard to see Bryan Cranston and Jennifer Garner together as a couple. That seems a little miscast.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Is she a bit young? I don't know who that is.
Jennifer Garner. Yeah, you've seen her before.
Yeah.
She's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston
Heisenberg
is a fine actor.
Yes.
So, like, yeah, she was married to Ben Affleck.
Okay.
That's like what her husband.
Yeah.
Movie star.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I like. My worry is it's just like if it's just upper middle class people have it so hard. I don't care. I don't care what their struggle is.
Even though it's true.
Well, yeah, it's so hard. There's people out there. 50% of this country can't afford. They did this new study. Over 50% of this country can't afford a $500 emergency. So I don't give a shit what your life is like at the end of the cul-de-sac and the nice house and the two cars. It's tough. Yeah, it's tough. There's people out there doing health care and they're battling really tough diseases. So I don't give a shit. But looks good. Yeah.
Yeah. He does have a beard.
I'm sure it's good writing. So, all right.
Well, that is it.
That's it.
All right.
Steve Gillespie, nice work.
Do I get to plug one thing?
Fuck no. Pack your shit and get the fuck out of here. They already stole my bottled water.
This is plug time.
No, this is plug time.
Go for it.
So where can people find you online?
Don't touch the wall.
Yeah,
don't touch
the wall.
Yeah.
A lot of rules all of a sudden.
All of a sudden, it just got weird. Oh, no hats. Did I say that? No hats.
GillespieComedy.com is the website.
Could you spell that, please?
Gillespie. Gillespie Comedy, like Dizzy Gillespie. Gonna be in Chicago this weekend at the Comedy Bar, Friday and Saturday. I'm going to be in Michigan area doing a bunch of breweries and stuff throughout June, and Wisconsin and Minnesota doing like a bunch of brewery tours. So check that out on the website. I also have my own podcast that just came out.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we were talking about this.
Talked to Graham a lot about it. It's with my girlfriend. It's a kinky psychedelic relationship podcast.
Another one?
It's a real.
There's so many.
There's so many.
What's the name of it?
It's called Under Our Covers.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a very authentic. We're trying to be very authentic and open about kind of our fringe relationship and lifestyle. So, it's an interesting podcast. It's been going pretty well. So, check it out.
How many have you recorded?
We have like 12 episodes recorded. We have the 4th one came out today.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, there's 4 that you can binge. Just go to Under Our Covers podcast on Facebook. That's where our main page is right now. We're building a website and all that at the moment.
And so you guys basically, explain. I know because we talked about it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Like, go into a little more detail. Like, if someone's listening to the first time, what are they going to expect?
It's the whole umbrella of like what it kind of is like a relationship podcast is kind of what the umbrella of the show is. The kind of all the things that go into that. So we have some episodes where we have some fights on the podcast and like how we're dealing with it because we've moved really fast in our relationship. We both are active in the kink community and BDSM, so we talk a lot about that.
What does BDSM stand for?
I don't know. I know what bondage. I don't know what the D stands for. It's B is bondage. SMM is
Deutschland.
Sadomasochism.
Sadomasochism. Yeah.
Okay,
So I don't know what the D. I should know that since I am practicing in it.
Maybe.
Yeah. Whatever. You just wing it. So we get into a lot of that stuff. We also talk. We are both very into psychedelics and the psychedelic community, and we talk a lot about that. And yeah, so we're just trying to be open about the challenges in our life of trying to make this love work with these kind of crazy lifestyle choices that we've made. And we have some guests. We've been doing some comics, but we also have a relationship counselor, a life coach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're going deep into it to try to. Not that we don't think that we know what we're doing as far as the relationship goes. It's not like, hey, look at us, our relationship's so great, let's tell you about it. It's more like, hey, these are the problems that we're having. These are the things that we are into. Maybe some other people are into these things. They're going through the same thing, and we're trying to make it kind of an interactive thing.
So if anyone out there is in a hippie sex cult,
yeah,
they would,
this is a hippie sex cult podcast.
There's a podcast for everyone. We've always said it. Yeah.
For everyone. That's the thing I told Steve when he first came here. I go, you should absolutely do this.
Yeah.
I go, this isn't for me, but so what? The thing about the internet.
There's people it is for.
There's people it is for. And are you starting to get like responsive
and it's
feedback
interesting
and stuff?
is the majority of our listeners are women that we're finding.
Well, ask one of them what the D stands for.
I will.
Yeah.
I think we could probably look it up, right?
Yeah.
We have computers. Or are you guys just scared to search
I'm not
that under
Googling
computer?
that. There's no way. I don't need.
Get something new.
I have a
Whatever.
Snowden.
It's domination.
Yeah,
Domination.
of course.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
I'm on the internet. That's the only reason I know what that is.
Yeah.
Aaron, whatever
I
you're
like
into,
how
we're
everybody
not
claims they're
judging.
not into it, but yeah, there's like 2 billion people.
It's like pornography.
I'm not into
Nobody's
it.
buying this.
I just buy some of their products just to see like how they're shipped and the checkout process.
Yes.
I want to see how their online store
I like their
works.
cart.
I like the cart. It's very easy. You just type in your info. They ship very quickly. Well, awesome.
Yeah, Under Our Covers it's called, so check it out.
Okay.
And name your website one more time.
GillespieComedy.com.
And your album?
Alive on State.
Awesome.
It was #1 on iTunes. It's like 30 right now. But.
You know, Steve and I, like I said, I've known his brothers. I started doing stand-up with his brother Bob. I've known him for a long time, and we've done the road a bunch together. And it's cool to like. We performed together maybe a year ago, and I hadn't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
And your act has gotten really solid. Not that you were very funny before, but you're really progressing. So I would recommend everybody. Most of you, I'm assuming, are fans of stand-up comedy. I would get Steve's album. It's really
Cool.
funny.
Thanks,
You guys should follow.
Yeah.
Great.
That's our show. I'll be at the Comedy Store on May 24th doing Nick Youssef's show. I forget what it's called, but it's a show he talked about when Nick was on the show, where when he was on this podcast, every comic has to do all new material.
Right.
And the audience knows this, so it's kind of cool. The audience is sort of down with what you're trying and is okay if you swing and miss. And so I'm doing that Wednesday, May 24th.
Oh, that'll be
at the
fun.
Comedy Store in the Belly Room, I believe. So check that out, and go to our Patreon page.
Yep, check out the Patreon. There's going to be, I mean, there's pretty much content on there almost all the time. I mean, there's either going to be a post from Daniel. There's going to be a movie recommendation today from Steve. He doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be giving a movie recommendation.
Yeah, there's polls.
Yeah, there's polls, and then
everything.
And then also you get, like I said, the bonus episodes. So and even like you say, well, I only can give like $1 or $2. That's not going to help much. It does.
It does.
It all helps. It
Everything
absolutely helps. It's like I said, we're in a giant earbuds hole still. So anything you can do to help us out.
And the
would be
bonus
great.
audio recommendation. So Steve was going to record a little something after this that'll only be available on the Patreon level.
Right.
Jackie did something last week, so it's really cool stuff.
So check it out.
Thank you guys, and we're so close to getting to the $1,000 level. We
Yeah.
can do 2 spoiler eps a month.
Yep, that
Cool.
means we'll be doing with Neil's episode. We'll be doing 7 episodes a month.
That's our goal.
Yep.
Give you guys more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we got this awesome studio here at ATC, so we want to use
We're
it as
gonna
much
use
as
it.
we can. Thank you, Steve Gillespie, for being on today's program.
Thank you, guys. It was really fun.
Good.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you, Aaron, for all of your fine work.
Yes.
And everyone here at ATC for helping us out and supporting the show, and all you guys listening. You're
Couldn't do it
awesome.
without you.
Could not do it without you. Literally could not do it without you. And shout out to everybody at Comedy Dynamics for doing the press release on earbuds.
Yes. Mhm.
We'll have more info on that. As it
Looks like release is going to be wide in September-ish.
Yeah.
We're looking at.
Yeah, probably August, September will be wide everywhere. So as we get more dates, we'll let you know. My name is Graham Elwood.
And I'm Chris Mancini, and as always, remember,
Han shot first.
Kitten heads across the land. Wait for the show with Chris and Graham. Comedy Film Nerds. Comedy Film Nerds podcast. Films, popcorn flicks. If you're looking for the knowledge, we've got your fix on the Comedy Film Nerds. Comedy Film Nerds podcast.
Well, look at that, guys. It's another episode of Comedy Film Nerds. My name is Graham Elwood.
and I'm Chris Mancini, just making some extra notes.
Oh,
I'm
he
ready. I'm
got
ready
his
to
pen
go.
out.
Yeah.
No, I
During
don't
the
have to
theme
spend
song.
Spectral
Chris was
Island.
I'm ready to
It's
go.
just Raiders.
It's-
We got a lot of movies to talk about.
You're fired up.
Yeah.
What are they, Chris? What are we going to talk
We're going
about?
to talk about Alien: Covenant,
Ugh.
Snatched, Mifune: The Last Samurai, and we are excited. Our Patreon
Mifune.
No, Mifune. Mifune.
I'm so happy you're the one who mispronounced the name.
Yeah.
And not me. It's so exciting. It's such a rare moment. I'm usually the one butchering names.
Gotta go see it with a Mifune Coupon.
Mifune Coupon, last Samuri,
Yeah.
and he was a he did
How do
the
you pronounce
talking.
his first name, Graham? Tashikito?
Sure, buddy. However you do it. That, by the way, was the that was our producer, Aaron Brungert, working the ones and twos over there. There goes Brent in the social media, man. He's got to quickly
All right.
take the social media and put it into a carrier pigeon and get it out there to the world.
Yep, and just give it wings.
Give it wings, guys. The social media is going to change the world.
So we are very excited. The Patreon is at $900.
Oh, shit. We're so close to getting to the 1,000, which will get us 2 spoiler eps a month.
Yes, we're so close. We're so close. Get us to the 1,000, and we want to thank each and every one of you who have already supported the Patreon. We're almost at that first goal.
If we hit the first goal quickly, we could do an Alien Covenant spoiler ep, which I would love to do.
Yes, so let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. And also, we're recording later today the Neil T. Weekly Monthly Weekly News wrap up.
Live.
That's it. Recorded.
Yeah.
Pre-recorded live. So that'll go up. That's part
Yes.
of the $10 tier. You get the
Yep.
bonus episode.
And it's a great episode, too. It's because we deliberately don't look at the news in advance, so Neil is schooling us on the film
Right.
news, so you're getting our reactions to the craziness that's coming
to the
up.
madness that Neil
Yeah.
finds, that only Neil can find.
Yes, he digs deep sometimes.
He goes into the matrix and finds
Yeah.
the business. Let's introduce our guest.
Let's do it.
First time guest, first time on the program. I did a Doug Loves Movies with her. Very funny. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Amy Miller?
You
Did
got
I say
it.
that?
Yes, you nailed
Mifune?
it. Thanks for practicing it.
Amy and Miller are very confusing names and multiple pronunciations. What have you been up to? What have you been doing?
Ooh, scooting around,
Scooting around.
telling jokes in
On a
various
Vespa?
cities.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish. Oh yeah, I should get like a nice hog, you know?
Yeah.
And like motorcycle to my gigs.
Sturgis is right around the corner.
I've been blowing it, taking planes. Yeah, just been doing shows, festivals, you know, busy spring. I'm hardly ever in LA, which kind of sucks and then is cool sometimes. But
Right.
I miss my swimming pool,
Yeah.
you know?
Swimming pools are nice.
Movie stars, fancy cars.
Yes, I love the
Oh,
whole
yeah,
business.
yeah, a lot of
Beverly.
cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
Blowing swimming pools and
Yes.
guns and
Isn't that what you guys do?
yeah, Lamborghinis.
Yeah, well, that's the podcast lifestyle.
That's all. This money of this podcast
Yes.
money. That's why we're trying. That's why we're trying to get $1,000 on Patreon because we have all that
You owe
sweet,
someone
sweet
It's a lot,
podcast.
For all the drugs,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
It's a lot to catch up on.
I have a diamond-studded, coke-filled Lamborghini that I drive into a swimming pool and crash it and just buy a new one.
Well, yeah, they're disposable.
Yeah, Lamborghinis are disposable. They're dumb cars anyway. The doors open up all stupid.
So let's talk about Alien Covenant
Oh,
now.
sweet Christmas.
Okay, I want to say this. I was thinking of a way to present this, and I was thinking Alien, Snark of the Covenant. So,
I like it.
But I was thinking about this movie, and I realized the main problem I had with this movie is that I went in with far too high expectations. I really wanted this to be like a resurgence of the franchise.
You still
Like,
do that?
I'd still do that. I really do, and oftentimes I'm fooled. But it was just one of those hopeful things because I had just also recently rewatched Alien and Aliens 2 with our daughter, just introducing her to the franchise, and she loved the film. So I was also extra familiar with the quality of the first two movies before seeing this next one. Now, the one positive thing I will have to say about this movie, it was way better than Prometheus. I found Prometheus to be...
okay, sure. Getting kicked in the nuts is a little bit better than having my face set on fire.
So this movie, it was by far a mixed bag. There were some things I liked in this movie. I thought there were some interesting things like, you know, if you're going to have like the colony in distress, peril kind of thing, just waiting to see who's going to die, you have to add some mythology and to it. And this movie tried to do that. It tried to add some mythology with the engineers and did they create humanity and why did they create humanity and why did they create then this basically this bioweapon to destroy it or destroy any other species. Like there's a lot of mythology that gets set up and never pays off, and then there's also a lot of character development traits that are set up that never pay off. Like for instance, the original captain dies. This is in the beginning of the movie, not a spoiler. He never gets out of his cryogenic sleep. So the second in command becomes the captain. And
Are these the
everyone's
cryo
nervous because-
chambers that are hanging on the strings so that when the ship gets hits the space tidal wave, the fucking cryo things are clanging around like hangers? Those ones? Is that what you're talking about?
No, the crew was in a different part of the ship. They weren't hanging. They weren't
But the
hanging.
colony, that is the
colonists,
whole point
yeah.
of the ship.
Yeah,
to
they're on hangers,
They're on
yeah.
hangers.
They're
Yes.
hanging out.
And they get
Yeah.
a little bit of turbulence,
They're
and they
like-
start banging around.
They're like doors in Monsters Inc.
Right.
When they go.
So, really great
or
planning.
It's a dry cleaners. Then the racks just come down and you get
Always
your
tether
colonists.
'em.
Sure. Always
um,
keep your humans like dry cleaning
So-
when you're flying 8 years in hyperwarp.
So
anyway,
the other
you were saying, Chris.
Yes. So the other thing which was odd is like if you're going to set up character traits, something has to be done with them. Like the second in command is like, well, everyone was nervous of having a man of faith in charge. Okay, so now we're saying that he has very strong beliefs in God and heaven and hell and all of those things. And in my head, I'm thinking, I wonder how that's going to play out later in the movie. The answer is never.
Never.
It just never comes up again?
It just never comes up again, except one ironic line, like when he actually says "Ye of little faith," like later in the movie.
Oh, he knows
And-
one line.
Yeah.
From the Bible.
Yeah.
It just makes him he's the lone spiritual guy because he just
So
knows
he's
that
the man.
one.
Yeah, that's the man of faith.
It is.
So this movie, I'll tell you, it had some cool scares. It had some cool alien designs. It had some cool parts to it. Some bit of mad scientisty stuff. There were some cool things that happened with the androids, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it never really came together in a satisfying way. and we're looking like we're setting up for maybe one or two more of these movies, prequels, but. I will say it was better than Prometheus for sure. I did like it a little. I did like it more, but I wanted more. I think this is the kind of movie, if you lower your expectations,
you'll still hate it.
Yeah, I think you will enjoy it. I think you will enjoy it a little bit more.
You think you would have if you had gone in expecting nothing?
I think if I would have gone in expecting like another Prometheus, oh god, then I would have been pleasantly surprised. I think. So I'm right in the middle with this movie. I was but Graham
you sold me.
Yeah,
it's awful. It's the worst. First of all, I said on the show,
Graham had a different opinion.
I hated Prometheus. The thing about Prometheus that drove me nuts was the crew in Prometheus was unprepared. Again, Prometheus had a similar thing of like it's this 10-year mission, like we're flying all across the galaxy, people in cryo sleep, and then we're just gonna get like a crew off Craigslist, and then just like the version of this one was okay. So we're recolonizing.
Just roll by Home Depot.
Yeah, pick up some guys, hop in the spaceship. You good with cryo freeze?
The big difference with this one is there were couples.
They were couples.
Yeah.
So this is the setup of this film. They're woken up. They have 7 more years of cryo sleep, right? So there's an android maintaining everything with a Siri type robot that he Walter.
They named the androids after the producers.
My
of the
Siri came on. My Siri came on my phone when I said that.
David Geiler and Walter Hill.
Right. Okay. Great shout out. So they talk about we're going to this colony. This planet we vetted this planet for 10 years, right? So the crew, I get it's couples, right? It's Noah's Ark. We need to help colonize. So are we going to get like couples that are highly trained, that are scientists, that have military backgrounds? No, we're just going to have like a fucking couples camping retreat, and the minute there's a problem, they all start arguing with each other like a bunch of goddamn dipshits on a reality show.
What I think Graham is trying to say, and I agree with this, the roles of the crew were not very well defined.
Is this movie a comedy?
Yeah.
It should be.
Well, Danny McBride was in it.
Why?
Yeah, I'll tell you, the casting was very off in a few places, and Danny McBride was one of the things that stood out. So I find him really funny and interesting. Doesn't belong in an Aliens movie.
Belong.
I mean, I didn't believe him for 1 second, and then I hope no one's expecting to see James Franco more in this movie, because he's literally in
the trailer.
In the trailer and the little teaser trailer that was up on YouTube of like the scene that happens before the actual movie is supposed to happen. That's like a character development scene that the movie could have used. So it was just a very weird and odd casting choice.
Well, the thing about Danny McBride, okay, Danny McBride does his one thing. He does Danny McBride, and that's fine. And
Yes.
Yeah, and can he do more? Maybe, I don't know. When it's in the right film,
he's hilarious.
Funny. He's funny.
Yeah.
But this is like